Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With GhanaTalks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. GhanaTalks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. GhanaTalks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on GhanaTalks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials. From Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare,
Regina Bless,
Deborah Adoso,
and I am Esinal Fiagbedu. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
GhanaTalks Radio, #1.
This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show, your morning companion.
This is GhanaTalks Radio, the best station.
Stories. As usual, I remain your host, Esinam Fiagbedu. And joining me this morning on a news headline review is my usual knowledgeable panelists, Miss Debbie Adoso and Miss Regina Bless. Good morning, Miss Regina.
Good morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good.
How was your night?
Cool.
Good to hear that. You are looking pretty this morning.
Thank you. Don't look bad yourself.
Thank you so much. All right, so let's dive straight into our major news story for this morning. Democracy Hub sues government over decision to deport foreigners arrested for Galamsey. Pressure group Democracy Hub has sued the government over plans to deport foreigners engaged in illegal small-scale mining, also known as Galamsey, rather than prosecuting them here in Ghana. They are saying in declaration that the deportation of foreign nationals arrested for engaging in illegal mining without prosecution constitutes a violation of Section 99 of the Minerals and Mining Act 2006 Act 703, which mandates prosecution for such offences. Also, they want a declaration that the stated policy and actions of the Minister for the Interior and the Ghana Immigration Service to deport foreign nationals without trial for Galamsey offences are unlawful, ultra-vires, and inconsistent with Article 19 and Chapter 2 of the Constitution of Ghana. The reliefs are a declaration that the selective decision not to prosecute foreign nationals while prosecuting Ghanaians for the same offences constitutes unequal treatment before the law and violates Article 17 of the Constitution. a declaration that the government of Ghana has no legal authority to substitute criminal prosecution with deportation for offences under Act 703, and such deportation amounts to unlawful interference with the administration of justice. A declaration that the policy of deporting foreign nationals accused of illegal mining in lieu of prosecution under Ghanaian law is not justified by any evidence of foreign persecution, and it's therefore arbitrary, unlawful, and contrary to the rule of law. So this is coming from Democracy Hub. So the pressure group Democracy Hub is challenging the Ghanaian government's policy of deporting foreign nationals involved in illegal mining without prosecuting them in Ghana. So I think somewhere within the month we saw in the news that the Interior Minister came out to communicate with Ghanaians that if foreigners are involved in illegal mining or fraud activities, they wouldn't be prosecuted here in Ghana, but rather they will be deported. I hope you remember that.
Yeah.
Yes. So let's break the story down. Then I get your submission on that. So Democracy Hub has sued the government over its decision to deport foreign Galamsey suspects instead of prosecuting them. The group says this action breaches Section 99 of the Minerals and Mining Act, Act 703, which requires prosecution for illegal mining. They argue the policy violates Article 19, Chapter 2, right to fair trial, and Article 17, equality before the law, of the 1992 Constitution. The suit claims that Ghanaians are prosecuted for Galamsey, while foreigners are spared through deportation, which they say is criminal. Democracy Hub again is demanding a court declaration that the Interior Ministry and the Immigration Services actions are unlawful and interfere with justice. They say deporting without trial, especially without proof that offenders are punished elsewhere, is arbitrary and undermines Ghana's justice system. So that is it. It looks like what the Interior Minister came to say didn't go down well with this Democracy Hub. And this Democracy Hub is actually a group that came out to demonstrate against illegal mining in Galamsey. And in the midst of that, I think some of them were even arrested, such as Ama Governor. We all saw that. And these people, after demonstrating that they should put a stop to illegal mining, and people are caught involved in this activity, they are deported, but they are not prosecuted simply because they are foreigners. And this actually breaches some of our laws and our constitution. So in that case, they are suing the government. So Miss Regina, that is it. What do you make of it? Do you think they have a case as it stands now?
Hey, they do have a case.
Right.
And I also believe that the Democracy Hub are not the only institution or organization against this. Even we individuals, or should I say concerned Ghanaians as a whole, are really concerned about this situation, because first off, there would be lack of prosecution.
Right.
And the law specifically states that anyone who is caught in Galamsey offences spends up to 15 to 25 years in prison.
Right.
And with that being said, we should know that the law is no respecter of person, whether rich, whether poor, whether sick, whether healthy, whether you're a foreigner, you're not a foreigner. Equality before the law.
Right.
Everyone needs to be equal before the law. So I don't see the sense as to why foreigners would be deported out of this country. This is where they committed the crime.
Yes.
The sports are water bodies. So why should they go and face trial in their own country? It doesn't make sense unless the government comes out to tell us that this is the law backing the deportation of foreigners.
Right.
But it shouldn't be a verbal agreement. It shouldn't be something that the minister has agreed with the foreigners minister that, oh, bring my people back to me and we will prosecute them. Up till now, I think, was it early this year, was it 28th of I think Chinese foreigners were arrested and they were deported back to their country, claiming that these people would face persecution. They're up till now. Have you heard anything about it?
Well, we haven't.
We've not heard anything about it. First off, the rule of law is not even working in our country, Ghana. We always say that Ghana is a country where the law doesn't work. And yes, it doesn't work because that is what they are showing to us now. And that is what they are exhibiting. I believe that the people of, or the leaders of Ghana are hearing what people are saying. It looks like the law in Ghana here only favors the rich. But once you are poor, the law will not favor you. It is only in the case of poor people that you will really see that the law in Ghana here is working, and which shouldn't be so.
Right.
We were in this country when Anas sent a petition to court, or sent a case to court. The case was should I say, it went against him. But he was the victim. Let me put it that way. He was the victim.
Right.
He took it to New Jersey and he won the case there. What should that tell us? What bell is it ringing to us? What is our judicial system doing about this? So lack of prosecution. We know 15 to 25 years of illegal mining. This is Ghana. This is where they sport our water bodies. This is where they destroyed our environment. So they should face the law here. And also fair trial. Why should you allow foreign nationals leave the country while Ghanaian nationals who are being caught in that same act face trial? Some people go as far as paying outrageous bail conditions.
Right.
That is not even, sometimes these people are poor. They don't even get the money to do that.
Right.
And also, we'll talk about discriminatory.
Yeah, discriminatory.
Is it Justice Philip, the SC nominee, categorically said that I've forgotten his statement, that the law shouldn't be based on sentiment.
On sentiment.
Exactly. That is what I feel these people are doing. It shouldn't be so. It shouldn't be like that. If these foreign nationals are caught right here in Ghana, they should be punished fairly and accordingly to the law. You wouldn't go to Nigeria to commit a crime and you'll be deported back to Ghana. You wouldn't go to USA, UK to commit a crime and you'd be deported back to Ghana. When Haja for real committed her romance scam, was she brought to Ghana
to come and face?
She
judgment?
wasn't.
No.
It is high time our leaders start thinking like leaders, and they should stop thinking like bosses. Bosses where they impose rules on us. It is high time they stop that. They need to exhibit signs of a leader. When Haja Forel committed a romance scam, she was prosecuted there. She was detained there because that is where she committed the crime, in as much as it was a social media crime. But should I say the people right there in the country were the victims? So does it make sense that a Chinese national is being caught right there in Ghana? Then I'm say more dinipane caught Chinese. And I would agree that first off, dealing with these Chinese nationals is very difficult because this is a matter of language barrier.
Yeah.
That is why the SC nominee is saying that it is high time these judges also learn the Chinese language. So that one there, when you come, they are dealing with you boot to boot. This is not the time where, and I can't speak English. Because most of these Chinese nationals don't really know how to speak the English. So please, it is high time the rule of law starts working in our community, starts working in our country. The equality before the law that we always preach about, this is the time where it needs to be exhibited. No one is above the law. This is the time where we need to exhibit it. We shouldn't make Ghana look like a joke. A country where, excuse me to say, every garbage can come into the country to destroy our water bodies, to destroy our environment, and go back to that country. Go back to their own country. It doesn't make sense. So it's high time the leaders of Ghana do something about it.
Yeah.
If not, we would also protest because it's seriously it doesn't make sense.
And even as such, for the minister to even come out and say this, and we getting to know that this is actually against our constitution, what does this tell us about our constitution? Is it that we are not working with our laws, or what? Because looking at what was said right here is actually unlawful for someone to commit a crime right here, and the person is not being prosecuted here or even tried. And even if the person is tried here, prosecute the person elsewhere with evidence that indeed the person has been prosecuted. Here lies the case: these people have been deported, and then we haven't seen any action being taken. So what is the assurance that these people are not going to come back again in different people to come and destroy our water bodies, which I think is very bad. And this is actually a question mark to our minister. Is it that you didn't know the constitution too well to know that it's actually unlawful? So I think in a way.
And I will also say that in as much as we are building that relationship with Chinese, or we have a friendly relationship with these nationals, doesn't mean, or this shouldn't be a yardstick for we to avoid punishments.
Yeah, right.
To the point that you are saying you are taking them to their own national. As he said, if only there was an evidence that these people has been prosecuted to the point where they are being jailed, they are serving their term, fine, it is understandable. But this is the case, you are not doing anything about it. I feel that these people, should I say, they are being restricted because of what they are gaining in a way, but it shouldn't be like that.
Right.
Every country is gaining from each other, and I believe that when I go there to commit a crime, they would arrest me and make sure that I face it. So Ghana should also do the same thing. And what Democracy Hub is the only thing they're asking for is free and fair.
Yeah. Just prosecute this.
It needs to be transparent.
Yeah.
So they should really work on that. Our judiciary system.
And then when it even happens like that, then it looks as if they are told what they actually suffered for actually went to waste. Because these people were on the streets. And I believe demonstration don't come out just like that. A whole lot of resources went into it.
Exactly.
And then here lies the case: what we are fighting for, you catch people, like you people are caught red-handed involved in this, and you say because they are foreigners, so they should be left to go scot-free. Nah. So I think I support them. They have a case in court, and whatever the outcome is, we will know. All right. Moving on to our next news story. Interior Minister calls for correctional reform as prison service graduate new officers. Speaking at the passing out parade of Recruit Course 125 at Akamfo Prison Officers Training School in the Central Region, the Minister for Interior, Mutaka Mohammed Mubarak, has emphasized the need for correctional reform in Ghana, highlighting the government's commitment to transforming the prison service into a modern correctional facility that focuses on rehabilitation, reformation, and reintegration. Mutaka noted that the government remains committed to expanding vocational training, educational programs, and productive inmate enterprises that reinforce rehabilitation, reformation, and reintegration. He pointed out that correctional facilities must become centers of reform, not just detention. The minister stated, "It is not an act of charity, but a strategic investment in national security and human capital. When we empower an inmate with employable skills, we reduce the opportunity for that inmate to reoffend. Rehabilitation and reformation do not occur in isolation, but must be linked to purposeful activity." To give practical effect to this policy, Mutaka announced that the government will scale up support for prison-based ventures, saying that entries such as carpentry, tailoring, agriculture, and industrial operations, including bottled water production, will be central to a sustainable, self-reliant correctional economy. The minister also directed all institutions under the Ministry for the Interior to prioritize the purchase of bottled water and toilet rolls produced by the Ghana Prison Service. This, he said, will not only reduce the financial burden on the state, but also generate revenue and promote inmates' productivity. So that is it. What this means is that Interior Minister Mubarak is calling for a major shift in how Ghana's prisons operate, moving from just punishing inmates to actively rehabilitating and reintegrating them into society. He emphasized vocational training, prison industries, and institutional support as part of reforms to reduce repeat offenses and build national security through human capital development. So the minister emphasized that prisons must focus on rehabilitation, reformation, and reintegration rather than mere punishment. Reforming inmates through skills training is seen as an investment in national security and human development, reducing the chances of reoffending. The government also plans to expand prison-based ventures like carpentry, tailoring, agriculture, and bottled water production to build a self-reliant prison economy. He also mentioned that the prison service will benefit from more training and education programs for inmates to support rehabilitation. So that is coming from the Interior Minister, Mr. Mohammed Mubarak. He said that now when you go to prison, it's not all about you just getting the punishment for your offense, but rather reformation is going on, rehabilitation is going on, reintegration is going on, that they are going to expand the ventures in prison. They are going to bring up prison industries where when you're in prison you can enter into ventures such as agriculture, tailoring, and other vocational skills, so that when you come out from prison you don't have to be dependent on people. At least when you were in there, you had a job doing. When you come, you can fit into the society. So that is coming from our Interior Minister. What do you make of it? Do you think that is a good cause to help those in prisons as well?
It is a very good cause.
Right.
Because prisons nationwide, not only in Ghana, it's not just an institution where people are being punished for their crimes, but it has, aside prison, it has another name, that is correctional centers. But I would say that in Ghana here, most of our correctional centers, better known as prison, is not really serving its purpose. I would say that it is rather encouraging these criminals to come out and do more.
Right.
It is gingering them to come out and do more. Because most of the times you see these people in prison and nothing is going on. It's like their life is their life is on hold. Let me put it that way. Their life is on hold. The only thing they are being subjected to is punishments, hard labor, the little amounts of food they give to you to eat, and you go back to sleep, and that is all, and bullying, that is all. But I believe that when vocational skills is being given to these people, it will make them busy. They wouldn't be idle. At the end of the day, these people should come out with certificates,
Right.
diploma, degree in vocational skills, in other skills they feel it's perfect for these people. We have males there, we have females there. These females can go into is it beautician, cosmetology, they can learn how to braid, they can learn how to fix nails, manicure, pedicure, and all that. And also to our men, and even to some of the women, they can also involve or indulge themselves in the agricultural sector. People can learn how to do how is it called, shoemaking. A whole lot of skills are there that these people can learn. Now, with just a period of 2 weeks, 1 month, you can be perfect in bead making,
makeup,
power zone, liquid soap, detergents, softener, fabric softener, after wash. These are a whole lot of skills that these officers can implement in our prison. But this time around, that is not what they are doing. They are only subjecting these people to torture. And at the end of the day, some of these people are being bullied. And some of them lose their lives at the end. And also, they should check the overcrowding and structural reforms. Overcrowding all boils down to structural reforms. In as much as these people are, are criminals, I believe that they are learning something from their past. And whilst you are learning, I believe that certain rules should be set down, or flexibility should also be blended with strictness. Some of these people sleep on the bare floor, packed like sardines. Even our current generation, sardines are not even being packed like that. Ubi sardine konko, at least 2, 3. There's space in it. So how much more humans? These people are so packed to the point where they tend to urinate and ease themselves in the same room. In as much as they are criminals, they are humans. If you are being subjected to that type of punishment, how would you feel? Would you be okay?
Well, critics will also say that these people have actually committed a crime, such as maybe taking somebody's life, causing pain and torture to people. So why should the government invest so much in these people? Why don't they just leave them in the prisons for them to suffer, just like the way they made other people also suffer?
So if you want to leave them in the prisons to suffer, you should ask yourself one thing. It's the taxpayers' money they are using to take care of these people, whether we like it or not. Because the government wouldn't, or should I say the president wouldn't dip his hands in his own pocket to be financing the prison sectors. It is our own money. So why not better still invest that money into a more meaningful and productive thing, that at the end of the year or at the end of their prison term, they will come out and be reformed.
Right.
So are they also trying to say that kids who are being taken to juvenile centers should be left there to rot? No. As I said earlier, in as much as they are criminals, in as much as they've subjected other people to pain, to long-term grieving, they also have a chance to life. They also have a chance to, should I say, correct their mistakes. You know, not everyone was brought up in the right way.
Right.
Not everyone had the, should I say, good upbringing most of us are having now. Some people were forced to grow up at a very tender age, and that is the result we are seeing. So our prisons should be a correctional center. It should be a center where someone enters and comes back transformed into a new living creature. Comes back and is having should I say, some skills, at least can produce this, can manufacture this, can do this, can do that. Our prison shouldn't be a center where people are subjected only to pain. And also, they should make sure that they restructure the prison. The overcrowding is too much. Overcrowding is too much. And also, I believe that there are prison centers that is very beautiful to live in. Especially for some of these politicians. At the end of the day, they'll come and tell us that this politician is being imprisoned to how many years of term. Then these people will come out looking all fresh, looking all bubbly. So whatever they are giving to these people in top official, the same should also be given to them, because criminal is a criminal.
But you know, reforming the prisons and then introducing these work ventures is actually going to bring revenue to the government and also employ create jobs for people, because they are going to employ people to go and train these people on how to make their own things, like the bead making, the makeup, the tailoring and all of that. And then when these people are already in business, some of these things will come onto the market. They will be sold, people will buy it, and those money go back to the government as well. And who knows, these products can also be, like exported to other countries. And that is a big generation of revenue for the government.
Yeah.
So I think this policy is right on course. We are just hoping that they are talking and talking. They should walk the talk. It shouldn't just be talk, but it should be actions as well. Anna, is that not it?
Yeah. It shouldn't only be talks, but it should be actions. Let's even use Burkina Faso's president as an example. At the end of the day, these people are being taken care of in prison. And at the end of the day, should I say, they are bringing back to the country what they are receiving.
Right.
So even if I'm taking care of an inmate, I'm spending 5 cedis on this person a day. I know that at the end of the month or at the end of the year, I'm receiving more than what I'm giving to this person. Because when you go to Burkina Faso, the youth in prison, they are not just in prison just like that. These people have been taxed in the agricultural sector. They are farming. First off, productivity is going on. And secondly, we will see end results of that productivity.
Right.
In the agricultural sector, you can't say you are doing, as a country, you will not depend on the agricultural sector. Because food is very important.
Very.
We all like food. We all love food.
Yeah.
So in every day in and day out, these people are working, making sure that produce are being taken care of very well. So I believe that Ghana should also adapt to that system, because it would really help. It shouldn't only be them eating.
Right. It shouldn't just be them eating. At least the government should also impact into these people, so that when they come out, the devil finds work for the idle hand. So if they come out and they already have a skill, why not? Their instincts will tell them to venture into it and make it a big business, rather than going to reoffend what they were actually caught doing, to take them back into prison. So I think the minister coming out to call for reformation and then reintegration into our correctional centers is a great one. We are just hoping it comes to life and we will be okay as a nation. All right, moving on to our next news story. Judiciary should retain 50 to 70% of IGF, Justice Bright Mensah proposes. Supreme Court Judge nominee Justice Philip Bright Mensah has proposed that the Ghana's judiciary be allowed to retain between 50% to 70% of its internally generated funds to enhance its operations and efficiency. Speaking during his vetting before Parliament's Appointments Committee on Tuesday, June 17, 2025, Justice Mensah emphasized the need for financial autonomy within the judiciary, while acknowledging the legal framework governing public funds. He explained, the revenue that we generate is also backed by law, that it must go to the consolidated fund, because it is from this fund that the government gets to pay institutions, including the judiciary. However, he argued that allowing the judiciary to retain a significant portion of its internally generated revenue would help strengthen judicial services and reduce other reliance or over-reliance on central government allocation. He clarified, so to say that the judiciary should keep 100% of its internally generated funds. But I would say that maybe about 50% or 70% should be retained as internally generated funds. Yeah, so that is it. So Supreme Court nominee Justice Philip Bright Mensah is proposing that the Ghana's judiciary be allowed to keep a significant portion of 50 to 70% of the money it generates internally. This, he says, will give the judiciary more financial independence and help improve its services, while still respecting the legal requirements for funds to go into the National Consolidated Funds. Someone may ask, what is the internally generated funds? So in Ghana, the internally generated funds refers to the money that public institutions earn on their own through services they provide. You know, sometimes I went to the High Court some time back, and they had a printing press. So in that entity, if you come to print there, the money is not going to the government. That money is actually for the courts to, you know, pay up certain bills. And the purpose of this internally generated funds is meant to support the operation of this institution, especially when government funding is not enough. You know, these entities cannot rely entirely on the government. So they use this internally generated funds to, you know, support themselves. So that is coming from Justice Philip Bright Mensah. He's actually been nominated to be one of the judges in the Supreme Court. So that is coming from him. He's saying that if 100% of these internally generated funds are not kept in the court or are not left for the judiciary system, at least 50 to 70% should be retained. Gina?
Yeah.
What do you have to say with regards to that?
The 1992 Constitution envisions a judicial system that is independent.
Oh.
That is what we all want, and even in the Constitution, that is what they want. Mm-hmm. So if the internally generated funds, they are only receiving 30% of it, how then do these people, should I say, go about their day-to-day activities? How do they make sure that they meet their basic necessities and all that? That is where sometimes these people are politically influenced, because at the end of the day, they are not even getting that enough funds to make sure that they deal with their basic needs. They need to depend on the executive. Mm-hmm. But it shouldn't be so. As a judicial system, whatever that goes on there stays there. Whatever funds you are receiving stays there, fine. You need to at least save some. So I do agree with him. 70%, 50% there. I don't think Ebeyo Mubi be 70%. Up to now, some courts, what are their names? Mm-hmm. Some people working at the court up to now are not even receiving their allowances. Right. And we also know that sometimes with these people, it comes with a whole lot of benefits. Up to now, some people are not receiving that benefits. They need to take care of any kind of basic necessities that ranges from their environment. Even when you enter some courtrooms or some offices of some lawyers or some judges, it doesn't meet the standard. It's not up to date. They lack some basic infrastructures. That shouldn't be so. So I do agree with him. With the 70% retainment, I think it would go a long way. Mm. Or if better still, at least 90% or 80%, it would really go a long way. Mm-hmm. It would be a case where they wouldn't depend on other people outside the judicial system.
Right.
So with what he's saying, I think it's important. And to also curb corruption and bribery.
Yeah, when it happens, like, you see, there are certain things in the courts that maybe probably they need A4 sheets for printing.
You have to go and ask.
That one, you want to ask the government.
Look at this.
So at least newspapers, the courts, every day they have to be buying newspapers. And they have to be printing. Mm-hmm. You have to service the printers and all of that. And even lights, even lights, the government is paying. Mm-hmm. If there's a fault in the court, you don't sit there and wait for the government to come and fix it for you. Yeah. If at least you have internally generated funds in there, and you think it's enough to sort out these issues, why don't you use it? So I think that is a good cause.
Yeah, and
that was a good one from him.
And with them retaining this huge percent, that is 70% or 50%, it needs to come with a stricter oversight. They need to make sure that when dealing with the money, they need to give us clear evidence of what the money was being used for. Right. And it needs to be transparent as much as possible. It's not only you just dipping your hands into the coffers of the judicial system, then just use it for whatever you want. It needs to be explained, detailed, what the money is being used for. and I think that would also help.
Yeah. So that is coming from Mr. Bright Philip Mensah, that at least internally generated funds, the judiciary should save 50 to 70% out of it. Yeah. So that is it. Thank you so much for joining us on the news review. Up next, we have Debbie's Grill.
Good morning and many thanks for joining me again on Debbie's Grill, where we talk about issues that concern the state, void of politics, fear or favor. Now, Ken Ofori-Attah's recovery after surgery may take up to 3 months. His wife asserted. So we all know that Ken Ofori-Attah has been leveled with, allegedly, have been leveled with some charges that has to do with corruption related cases in relation to the National Cathedral and some other critical issues. Now, we were here and it got to our notice that he's not feeling well. He has been diagnosed with prostate cancer and that he cannot be available for interrogation or investigation with the Office of the Special Prosecutor. And the Special Prosecutor came out to brief the state on that. And according to Ken Ofori-Attah, the actual date should be postponed to 18th of this month. Unfortunately enough, today is 18th June, and information reaching us now is it will take him 3 months for us to see Ken Ofori-Attah in this country. And this is not coming from, he said he's sick, but this is not a medical report that is coming from the health sector. This is a report that is coming from his wife. So the question is his wife now the medical doctor? Or maybe she is an assistant to the doctors, taking care of his husband and then ensuring that he's physically fit. You see, this is how bad it looks like. And this is where we've gotten to. Someone allegedly involved in a corruption-related cases is now telling us what to do when he should be called for interrogation, the time he is supposed to be around, and we feel it's okay, we feel it's enough. Whilst if this should be an ordinary Ghanaian, you would have been arrested for so long, and as the investigation is going on, you will be remanded. You will be at the forecourt. You will be in prison whilst investigation is ongoing. But here lies the case. Because he's a top official, I guess so. So he can tell us when he's coming. When he feels like he's okay for investigation to go on. For interrogation to go on between himself and the Office of the Special Prosecutor. That is when he will avail himself. And we think it's good. The most surprising thing is, it is not from the health practitioners. I'm still doubting if truly he's sick. Because the announcement of his illness was not formally communicated to the state. It was a letter written to whom it may concern. Not to the Office of the Special Prosecutor, not to Ghanaians, but to whom it may concern. And if you think truly you are sick, who is supposed to, send info to the Office of the Special Prosecutor? I feel like it should be formally presented. But it was flying around on social media with a boldly caption on top, whom it may concern, and we feel like it's okay. And now the information reaching us is that it will take him 3 months, so it means we should be waiting till he's fit. And I wouldn't be surprised after this 3 months, there will still be an excuse. Yes, there will definitely be an excuse. Because you know why? We are not serious as a country. No, we are not. We are not serious. When it has to do with corruption-related cases, we are not. We see it as a mere joke. And this is why corruption is on a rise. I believe maybe we feel happy when we are being ranked. I mean, countries that has corruption dominating in them, and then you see Ghana on top, and we are happy. I believe that is what we want to be seeing. Ken of Oriata should be in the country by now. But we are waiting. It's like you going to you catching a thief stealing something, and then he tells you that I'm going to bath and come wait for me, and then you are waiting for a thief, knowing very well that when he gets out he's not coming back. But we are comfortably waiting for him. He's going to bath and come, so we are waiting till he comes. We are still there. That is exactly what is going on. I'm not calling anyone a thief, but that is a clear indication. Because if you are being identified in relation to criminal cases or corrupt cases or whatever it is, you should make yourself available. If Ken of Riata is saying that he is sick, are we not having good, doctors in this country that can treat him? We have good doctors, right? That can treat him here in the country. Even in the country, it's not even necessary for him to go to the hospital. We have some officials that have their personal doctors. They have their personal nurses that comes around to treat them anytime they have health complications. And it can equally be in that order. But no. And you see, this is why some Ghanaians are saying that it looks as if the law favors some people. And then the law goes, it does not actually go in favor of the poor, but then it goes in favor of rich people. That is how it is. And that is what we are seeing. Because trust me, if it were to be a cocoa farmer somewhere, it were to be a teacher, even a nurse or whoever it is, being involved in such cases, oh, by now you are still there. You are still there. But we are waiting. They said 3 months. After the surgery, he will last there for around 3 months. I wouldn't be surprised if we will keep dragging this issue till next year. And this is where the office of the special prosecutor needs to stand on his grounds. This is a time where he has to tighten his measures. Tighten your belt. I'm not in your office, so I cannot say whether your office is being intruded by any political party or whatever it is. But this is a time where you need to stand. Because that is why you are there. That is your job. They are paying you for that. And I'm sure every month we pump money into that particular office. But we see nothing. I'm not the only one seeing nothing. I'm not the only one seeing anything there. I think by now, the office of the special prosecutor should be bowing his head in shame. Because for 8 good years, we cannot even account for one person we prosecute in this country. Not even an ant, no. And I know till Ken of Oriata will be declared guilty. He's not yet guilty. But make yourself available. That is it. Is this something we should be dragging back and forth with? No. Make yourself available. Who knows, maybe after the interrogation with the office of the special prosecutor, you'll be declared free. Who knows? Well, allegedly, we know that money has been pumped into the National Cathedral and we saw nothing. But maybe you can provide your facts and everything, and at the end of the day, you are free. If only there can be a vivid proof to we Ghanaians that you are not involved in that. Although such charges were leveled against you, then we know that we don't have any issue with you at all. But in a case where you are sick, the next day it's another issue. We should give you 3 months. And I'm sure after this 3 months, there will still be another issue. Definitely, there will be another issue because that is the cycle they are creating now. And I will say they are found fooling us. Imagine this were to be in other countries. You would have been arrested for so long ago. Even at the hospital there, they will bring you back to this country. But no. We are quiet. We don't care. We are waiting, patiently waiting till he comes back. Then we can continue with what we are doing. And we think that is right for us as a country. We think that is the only way to go about this issue. Waiting for someone who have been leveled with this kind of charges. And at the end of the day, the person comes to tell you that I'm not feeling well. Give me 3 months. And you said, okay, I'll give you 3 months. And I feel like it's like we don't have good practitioners here in the medical sector that can treat him. But we have people treating prostate cancer in this country. Oh. We have them. Aside the health sector that I know, the local side, they do. They do all those things. So he can equally be treated in Ghana. The best thing is for him to arrive. And now they are telling us that 3 months. Now to the office of the special prosecutor. We are watching you. Whether you are going to give him this 3 months again. Then after that, I don't know what will be the next steps you are going to take. But this is it. The citizens of this country are already losing some kind of trust when it has to do with this prosecution and stuff, especially in the office of the special prosecutor. It's better you do your job and do it well. Because we cannot be paying or pushing money into that office and it's going down the drain. Thank you for making time with me on Debbie's Girl.
Thank you so much, Miss Debbie, for that girl. The special prosecutor is not prosecuted. All right, Miss Regina, what do you have for us today in history?
Today in history, 1979, Ghana held general elections. General election held on this day where Hila Liman of the People's National Party emerged victorious. This election took place after the Armed Forces Revolutionary Council seized power on June 4, 1979, and allowed the scheduled elections to proceed. The AFRC subsequently handed over power to the duly elected Hila Liman following free and fair elections. According to a Ghanaian history account, parliamentary elections were held, resulting in the People's National Party winning 71 of 140 seats. This marked a pivotal step in Ghana's transition from military to civilian rule during the Second Republic. 1976 Soweto Uprising Spirits originally started on June 16th. The students-led protest against Afrikaans language instruction escalated and spread beyond Soweto by June 18th. Police and military forces were deployed in Johannesburg, Cape Town, and other areas in an attempt to suppress the demonstrations. This day is observed as International Day for Countering Hate Speech. Officially proclaimed by the UN, this day promotes awareness and initiatives to counter hate speech worldwide. Today is also observed Autistic Pride Day. It is a pride celebration for autistic people held annually on this day. Autistic Pride recognizes the importance of pride for autistic people and its role in bringing about positive changes in the broader society. This day is also observed as World Panic Day. It is an initiative aimed at increasing awareness about panic disorders. It serves as a day to provide education on the signs and symptoms, offer resources and support to those affected, and challenge the societal stigma surrounding mental health disorders. This day is also observed National Go Fishing Day. It is a day dedicated to encouraging people to enjoy the recreational activity of fishing and appreciate the aquatic environment. Whether you are an experienced angler or a beginner, it is a great opportunity to relax, connect with nature, and perhaps even enjoy some time with friends and family. And that's all for today. On Today in History, and did you know, live on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Thank you so much, Miss Regina Bless, for that fascinating fact. Today is World what? I had hater language.
It's a day for countering hate speech. It promotes awareness and initiatives to stop or counter hate speech worldwide.
Counter hate speech. So you're not supposed to say any hateful word to anybody today. This one there is going for you. All right, this is where we draw the curtains for the first segment of the Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Right after this, we'll be going for the news, and after the news, we'll be coming up with the second segment. Please stick and stay with us.
Hello Ghana, hello worldwide, I'm with level band. Now listen, every Tuesday and Friday, beyond the time it's going to carry bro. Our Ghana Talks Radio, 7 p.m. sharp. Now Tuesday, we're gonna talk about our culture, our history. Matuni ding setete abako sem. Now on the Friday, you bars. You better rap, you better say no artists go join me in the studio. We're gonna discuss about music and business. Konya, or you singer, and now you rapper, you think say you get bars. You go fi spit fire. Now listen, make you join me with studios. Our Ghana Talks Radio and yes say then our day. Me say download the Ghana Talks Radio app no our Play Store and the App Store. Na tune in and say this what you see baba live on Facebook, ko Instagram, any Ghana Talks Radio page and so now listen. E be your fire. 1 year, Konya, Wading, Jajan.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esina Ofiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
We bring you local news, business news, international, sports, and entertainment news. Right here on GTR.
Good morning and welcome to the morning news broadcast live on Ghana Talks Radio. Coming up, COPED applauds government move to suspend fuel levy. Speaker Bagbin calls for peaceful politics and national unity. Justice Mensah calls for better working conditions at lower court. The New Patriotic Party urges immediate reforms after 2024 defeat. These and many more coming up shortly. Do stay with us. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers applauds government move to suspend fuel levy. This was after the government introduced 1 cedi levy on fuel prices. According to them, the suspension of the fuel levy would decrease hardship on Ghanaians and lessen burden on petroleum consumers. COPEC has advised the government to develop innovative ways to clear the power sector debt.
Yeah, abai entwen so kakra. Sabe ya enkoye sutro mienu sa amanone ebo no eko na yede tax nso so yire Ghana for mienu no ekabomu a na chese gains are aban no ameki within the past 5-6 months in government no ni nyina ebe wipe sabe Ghana for a ede petrol edi juma megidi se obi ni ho a obekasa etia na yede 1 cedi pay also ne yese yenya fama megidi se asempa, and for that I think Zabayno has been good to us. As to whether say ye be ye free hokra and I are suspending it temporarily na empre bidra ye be sign a reintroduce no ye be jama the days ahead say in science why gidi say the Iran-Israel conflict ebenya wo petrol so no ankoba ne sa ene na yasumu adwen na koba ne sa obesori na ebo no kwa na ekose de crude edi kan kodada no but enya affect petrol ni diesel nti ene kra no pumps dodo na asan ate so kakra menyi ni say in the days ahead no be san ate so bio because crude ni bo ni nyakwa oye den a ebe affect petrol no any diesel ni kerosene na ye chinchin mo no nti ye de ani bedi akire if a time comes now buying person or the back near fele said well enye bad enkuyen I'm sure that will be objective but for now the decision by a buying say was suspended no ye jitum na ye jidi say ebebo Ghana for do na so na ye ho ahen high.
Speaker of Parliament, Right Honourable Alban Bagbin, has condemned political conflict, stressing its negative impact on democracy. Speaking to the National Day of Prayer Committee, the Speaker endorsed July 1st and called for unity beyond party lines.
Sides are fighting each other there because of what? Political philosophy. America versus Russia. If not, it's one Korea. And they divided it, the South for America, the North for Russia. And that has become a base of conflict up to date. Why? Brothers and sisters. And so Ghana, so unique that when they hear that we sit like we are sitting, even our parliament, when we go around and we are moving together, both opposition and government, the other parliaments are surprised I was opposition leader for 8 years. I was always moving with my ministers. And they were always, people asking me questions. You say you are the leader of the minority parliament, opposition leader. I say yes. But why are you there with this? Are you sure you are opposing them? I said, I'm not opposing them. Now, how? I said, but how do you oppose somebody if you don't know the person sometimes? You are going to fight your opponent and you haven't studied your opponent. How are you going to fight them? So when we won, I met them. I told you. They said, now we believe. You know? But my colleagues in Nigeria told me that, look, that one, you say you are my brother's wife. I said, so you people, you sat there and allowed the opposition to beat you in the election. So what are you talking about? We're not sitting, we're standing. And we fought it, but we lost. Because change is permanent. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no government that will come in Ghana and be there forever. No, it's not normal. Change will come when it will come. If you try to stop it, it will come with force and it's distraction. I told my police in Nigeria, no, it will never happen in Nigeria. When it happened, they sent for me to come and take them to do a workshop. How to lead opposition. And I was there for high court to take to man, Jonathan and his party, how to lead through opposition. So,
moving on, a Supreme Court judge nominee, Justice Philip Bright, has emphasized the need for better working conditions of service for judges at the lower court. In his assertion, lawyers prefer to join the bench at higher courts due to unattractive working conditions. Justice Mensah believes that making the conditions of service attractive will encourage good lawyers to join the bench.
When we are talking about access to justice and quality justice for that matter, aside from down there. So therefore, to attract lawyers to start from the lower ebb of the ladder, then it means that the condition of service must be very, very attractive. I myself, when I started, I was also saddled with going to other courts. It was because there were no lawyers available to be engaged. Not that they are not available, but they didn't find our conditions of service attractive to come to start from the lower. So the solution to the problem is that the conditions of service of the judges, particularly at the lower bench, must be attractive for the lawyers to start from them. I believe that if the conditions of service are attractive, many lawyers will join the
Moving on, the New Patriotic Party is calling for urgent reforms after significant suffering defeat in the 2024 elections. A fact-finding report attributes the party's poor performance to the administration style, which was perceived as rigid. In accordance to that, some party faithfuls demand urgent reforms to eliminate internal monetization of the issue.
SCC, I'm a brechere abo MPP, Amanyokoi, na party the best as Sonia Jan and Naswa, young form for them, Daya Crado, Aya Fiamu, Aya Boyo, Regents are what was said, Yababa Oma de Biara, some party the best side of Bay, as Sonia Jina, na a form Ejinano, I was a Sonosia Bay, Ejina, and to the Edica Srepa and Penny for the Bay, and Kabom, where Asumje press conference, Naya, leaders on a person Biara Bay. General Secretary or the Crata Biba Bontin, Crata in say almost party members in that's identifiable groups. So almost submission for constitutional amendment. government. Yeah, well, you know, identifiable groups, leaders. Now, a thought that about petition, about your crata, a could do no matter what name. A common 20 and come there, that I made the other. It is someone here said 2028. The very elections there, Omuntia.
Sir, and your uncle Aquaja, a do general election, Uncle Aquade, Koto, ATS and Penny for, Sir, and Nayaha, that the air can you say, Omuntia, yet the more you did to MPP and Penny for Nimuse. Do one delegate system, yes, sir. A quiet on betting me a fast swap, Omu free way bay yen, Omunin free.
In business, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Oil Marketing Companies, Dr. Rivers Opon, has raised serious concerns over Ghana's dwindling stated-owned fuel reserves, warning that the bulk oil storage and transportation company may not have more than a week's supply left. In an interview, Dr. Opon said the current situation is terrifying as global tensions threaten fuel supply chains. I doubt that as we speak today, Boost can provide even a week worth of national fuel supply, he said. That is very terrifying because Boost as an institution does not have its own stock of products stored for emergencies. He attributed the problem partly to policy decisions by the Energy Ministry and the National Petroleum Authority, which he says appear to favor private fuel importers over Boost. According to him, inability to secure a Lekan ban official clearance from the Petroleum Authority that permits the docking and discharge of fuel vessels a major bottleneck, he added. This, he said, is essentially the authority note that gives the money and clearance to bring a vessel, he explained. Without it, you cannot import fuel, and Boost doesn't seem to be getting it. Dr. Opon's warning comes at a time when geopolitical risks are rising, particularly with the threat of conflict in the Middle East. He referenced possible disruptions in global fuel supply through the Strait of Hormuz, a key transit route. Without immediate action, Ghana risks severe energy insecurity, leaving consumers vulnerable to supply shocks and price volatility. He urged the government to urgently reassess its energy policy to enable and rebuild national reserves. Still on business news, economist Professor Patrick has cautioned against Ghana's immediate return to the international capital market to issue Eurobond despite Fitch's recent credit rating upgrade. Fitch upgraded Ghana's credit rating to B with a stable outlook, signaling improved investor confidence. However, in an interview, Professor Patrick said the upgrade reflects shifting market sentiment but should not prompt hasty external borrowing. He stressed the need for continued economic reforms under the ongoing IMF program to restore long-term stability. You cannot enter the capital market as long as we are in the IMF program. We will not enter the capital market if our credit rating goes up to AA. That is what we are signed on to. We will not enter the market now, and in my view, we should not even be thinking of re-entering the market, issuing Eurobonds. The Eurobonds and this extensive external borrowing have been extremely problematic for the Ghanaian economy. We still have problems in the economy to fix. I think what we have done so far in 2025 is to try to put government finances back in some order. But even with that, we are not completely out of woods because the budget that has been announced for 2025, we cannot have that kind of budget again in 2026, 2027 or beyond. So the sustainable tax reforms that will bring in revenue on a consistent basis to ensure that we are in the position to service our debt and cut the deficit substantially on a sustainable basis we haven't done yet. Meanwhile, reacting to Fitch upgrade of Ghana's credit rating, Finance Minister Dr. Kaiser Latofosen described the upgrade as a significant milestone and indicated that reflects government's unwavering resolve to fully revive the economy and deliver lasting relief and shared prosperity for Ghanaians. Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Johnson Asiama, also speaking at the Banking Last Mile event hosted by the Ghana Association of Banks and Absa Bank Ghana, also welcomed the latest credit rating upgrade by Fitch Rating as a clear indication of Ghana's improving macroeconomic fundamentals and external sector performance. And that's how we end it for now on the morning news broadcast. I will be back with subsequent news bulletin later in the afternoon. My name is Deborah Adoso. Do want to log on to all streaming platforms at GhanaTalksRadio.com for more detailed information. Do have a good morning.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
Hello Ghana, hello worldwide, I'm level bang. Now listen, every Tuesday and Friday, beyond the time it's going to carry bro. Our Ghana Talks Radio, 7 p.m. sharp. Now Tuesday, we're gonna talk about our culture, our history. Matuni ding setete abako sem. Now on the Friday, you bars on bars. You better rap, you better say it. No artists go join me in the studio. We're gonna discuss about music and business. Konya, or you singer, and now you rapper, you think say you get bars. You go be spit fire. Now listen, make you join me with studios. Our Ghana Talks Radio and yes say then our day. Me say download the Ghana Talks Radio app no our Play Store and the App Store. Na tune in yes say this what you see baba live on Facebook, ko Instagram, any Ghana Talks Radio page and so now listen. E be your fire. 1 year, Konya, Wading, Jajan.
What do you want for breakfast? How do you want your breakfast?
English breakfast, French fries.
Koko Nikosi, alo komi kesheto.
Wache.
Well, Gobe is the real deal.
Join us on Ghana Talks Radio. Let's serve you a buffet of breakfast.
From news headlines review, current affairs to social issues.
Entertainment, sports, and all the trending stories live on our mobile app and across all socials. From Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m.
With me, Pakwesi Omare.
Regina Bless.
Deborah Adoso.
And I am Esina Fiagbedu. This is Ghana Talks Breakfast Show.
Are you ready to amplify your business or brand's reach and make a meaningful impact in Ghana and beyond? Partner with Ghana Talks Radio today to connect with a diverse audience across Ghana and beyond. Elevate your brand through on-air promotions and social media. Boost your brand during prime time. With Ghana Talks Radio, you can extend your reach across digital platforms. Ghana Talks Radio is not just a station, it is a community hub where your brand becomes part of the conversation. Join us in fostering connections, celebrating culture, and making a lasting impression. For customized sponsorship packages and enquiries, email contact@GhanaTalksRadio.com or call +233 202 544614. Ghana Talks Radio, giving the youth a voice.
It's a beautiful morning on Ghana Talks Radio, where we come your way live to serve you the breakfast show. My name is Pakwesi Omare. I greet you wherever you are listening and watching us from. It's a midweek edition, and you know how we do it on the show. This morning, we will be having the two heavyweight parties in the country, and they are representatives in the studios to have some discussions on some issues relating to politics and social interventions as a whole. Before I go on, I want to entreat you to join a conversation on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio, on Facebook, on Instagram, on TikTok, and on X. You can send in your comments, your views, your opinions, and we will get interactive with you. Also, our WhatsApp line is 0202-544-614, 0202-544-614. You can call in, you can send your messages, and we will get it out there for you in relation to the topics and discussions at hand. This morning, I have in the studios right now the gentleman representing the NPP, the opposition, the major opposition party in the country. Omako opposition, but they are still looking fresh, and you know, sure, Rolex or Moboni idea, yeah, opposition be a day. But big man ni good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Bibi aboko.
Oh, nyami adom. Say yewu yenko ade. Yewu gidi say be. Omani mu na ade.
Oh. Na me nim say Monkrofo say nka o matete for so dollar rate no e ma chisi de no in a way see the no crowd was trends in dollar and think I want say no more than that.
Na unum say dollar asanso I hit up. Yes.
Me who say free 10 20
dollar is above 12 cedis now.
Hey,
I'm telling you.
Producer check a dollar rate.
Dollar is on the increase again.
It's above 12 now.
Yes.
Wow. That's interesting.
Now, one is President Mahama, won over this Israel and Iran rivalry or whatever war. So the records are there to show. And you see that the whole thing is, I don't know whether President Kufuor was operating under the sea during his tenure. So Russia-Ukraine war had no effect on Ghanaians.
Yeah.
At the time when the NDC was speaking from opposition. But when they assume office, today they are operating on earth. So whatever happens elsewhere, Ghana is affected as well. It's quite interesting to see the NDC and their double standards. But I am not surprised because we warned them and we told them that look, you can't just sit somewhere and say things because you want political power. It doesn't happen.
Sure.
Yes. We should be truthful to ourselves.
Okay.
67 years and above as a country, I think we can do better. You can't lie your way to power. The reality will expose you, and that is what we are, experiencing
now.
Yes.
Okay. But, wow. So, in a way, you are admitting to the fact that these external shocks are actually affecting the dollar CD depreciation now, which in another stance, whilst in opposition, the NDC, who is now in power, were not on the same subject that the Russia-Ukraine war COVID could actually hit the economy into crisis. In fact, when the dollar rose so high against the cedi, and the vice president then came to say that, because of these external shocks is why we are experiencing these factors in our denomination. The NDC didn't agree to that.
You see, that's why I said the double standard of the NDC, has been exposed in less than 6 months in government.
Less than 6?
Yeah, less than 6.
Okay.
Because they took over as a government 3 months When that was when they, passed their budget and they started operating with their own budget. So I don't want to go back to January. If I do that, I'm not being fair to them. Okay. Because from January to March, they were operating with Akufo-Addo government budget. Okay. So currently, NDC, started operating with their own budget, their vision, their aspiration, their fiscal policy. Everything started just 3 months ago. Okay. When they had their budget passed.
And within that 3 months,
they have been exposed. Wow. The reality is catching up with them. Wow. Little by little. You don't agree with me?
I'm following. Following.
If you look at the trade balance, okay, the economic reliance of Ghana on other countries, for example, Russia, Ukraine, Iran, Russia, China, Brazil, US. Boss, you can't just ignore because you want to do politics. Okay. You can't just ignore.
Sure.
Whatever happens in these countries that I've just mentioned will equally have an impact, whether negatively or positively.
Sure.
So whatever is happening during Russia-Ukraine war, we're telling you, look, the effect, the effect of this thing that you are talking about is the reason why Ghana is still suffering. But yes, still, Akufo-Addo was able to lift the economy at a GDP growth rate of 5.7%. Okay. This is a fact. If you check Ghana Statistical Service website, it is there. BOG has published it. Ministry of Finance has published it. That the GDP growth rate as at 31st December 2024 was 5.7%. Okay. Akufo-Addo took the economy growing at 3.4%. Okay. Today, it is growing at what? 5.7%. Do you know the projection of the NDC?
No.
3.9. Somebody was doing 5.7. You said that, performance was poor. The economy was criminally managed. Whatever was mismanaged. Now you came in, giving all the opportunity, the resources to manage the country. And you are telling us at the end of the day, you are going to grow the economy by 3.9%.
But in regards to the criminality of and mismanagement of the economy under your government, then under your party, let me put it that way, let's look at the recent briefing from the Attorney General in regards to the NSS scandal. Let's be honest, there's criminality. There's criminality. Putting our political lenses aside, look at what happened. 548 million Ghana cedis being embezzled. We saw these and National Service personnel crying for their allowances day in, day out. They even threatened a strike.
Okay.
Not knowing their monies were actually used as a collateral for a loan.
Who established that?
The Attorney General's office.
Does the Attorney General have that mandate to establish whether somebody is guilty of an offense level against him or not?
But we all know that before we get into the guiltiness or innocence or the judgment of a court, investigations will be done. Prosecutions will take place before the judgment comes out. So under his investigations, he has come out with such reports that such an amount was used as a collateral. Are we still good?
Boss,
that's the Minister of Justice.
I won't even worry you with all this.
Yeah.
Let's be honest to ourselves. Rule of law.
Yeah.
Principles of rule of law. Constitution and constitutionalism is very important. When you want to establish, whether somebody is guilty of an offense level against him or not.
Yeah.
There should be a processes that you must go through.
Okay.
This country is governed by laws. The 1992 Constitution of Ghana is there. And other subsidiary laws. If we read the Constitution carefully, Article 19 Clause 2C. Okay?
Yeah.
Article 19 Clause 2C. See, I'm a student of law.
Okay.
So I don't want to engage in assumptions, speculations, perceptions. Those things do not, help the discourse.
You want to go with the facts.
The fact, because the Attorney General is not just any person. In fact, if you look at the Constitution, the Attorney General's office is the only office established under the Constitution, under Article 88 of the laws of this country. Okay. That there shall be Attorney General of this land, and he shall be the principal legal advisor of the state. And what? The prosecutor of the state. Yeah. So in everything the Attorney General does must follow due process, must follow law, principles, not just assumptions, perceptions, speculations. I want us to learn this morning. Okay. Because we are all young guys that we are coming up. and so we must learn.
Sure.
The Constitution, Article 19, Clause 2C, says that what? Anybody who is facing a criminal charge shall not be pronounced what? Guilty until that person is what? Is proven safe by a court of what? Competent jurisdiction. Full stop.
Okay. Okay.
Anybody who is facing a criminal charge. That is what the Constitution says.
It's all right.
Now, the question is whether or not does the Attorney General have the mandate or the authority to declare somebody as a thief, to declare somebody as a state looter, to declare somebody who has engaged in corruption and corruption-related activities.
Okay.
Does he have that mandate? Article 125 of the Constitution, which establishes the judicial powers of the land, is vested in the judiciary, not the Attorney General under Article 88.
But
so I'm coming, we'll get there.
Okay.
So on what basis?
Okay.
I don't have problem with the Attorney General saying gathering those facts. But what I'm saying is it that necessary to organize a press conference to label somebody that you are even yet to proceed to court for the court to establish whether the person is guilty of the offense you are leveled against her or not? You are yet to go to court. You are yet to appear before the court for the court to determine. So the question is, was it that necessary to do that? Why don't you proceed to court with the fact that you have been able to gather it? Then in law we say what? Res ipsa loquitur. The fact must speak for itself.
Okay.
So the fact that you have gathered must speak for itself in the court of law.
Okay.
Proceed to court. Make sure these people go through the right processes. Let the court deal with them. The NPP still maintain the position that we will not and we will never support any activity or any appointee who has engaged in corruption or corruption-related activities. Okay. We will not support it.
All right.
But what we will not, also agree is that this particular government will use ways and means just to create the impression that somebody is guilty without, sorting to the court. That we will not.
Okay.
Because the Attorney General should know better. And he ought to know better.
Okay. But you see, not so long ago, the current finance minister was also in the same position, held by the then Attorney General, in the person of Mr. Godfrey Dame. Did the NPP hold same stance? Because some would say that the Attorney General projected him to be guilty of the allegations he had against him.
Do you have records to show that? Do you have records to show that Godfrey Dame organized a press conference, labeled honorable member of Parliament, Councillor Toforsen, as somebody who has engaged in corruption or somebody who has engaged in state looting?
So why was he tried? Why was
he was arraigned before the court, And at the end of the day, there is a verdict to show that.
Okay.
You see, Ghanaians are not getting the position of the MPP.
Okay.
We are not against prosecution.
Okay.
Of, former appointees. Okay. And we will never do that.
So
what we are saying is that
the
MPP is against is that make sure the person go through the trial.
Okay.
Let the court establish it, whether the person is guilty or not. Under Article 19 Clause 2C, like I have established.
Okay.
Let the court do justice.
So you don't subscribe to the fact that the Attorney General should hold a press conference to update the masses, the people he's serving, on the progress of these cases that he's.
I like the question. The question is updating.
Okay.
Informing the people about the status of whatever you have gathered.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you should, label the person involved as a state looter.
Okay.
If I come to these premises and I said, Talk Ghana radio.
GhanaTalks radio.
Yes, GhanaTalks radio.
Yeah.
It's, killing people. They've killed about 10 people. And for that matter, I'm proceeding to court. Is that the right thing to do? I've already passed judgment on you as an institution before proceeding to court.
Okay.
And when you do that, that statement alone, jeopardize the decision of the court in advance.
Okay.
Because in the end of the day, it is 50-50. Whether the allegation you are leveled against this particular institution will be held by the court or not.
Okay.
So I don't subscribe the labeling of somebody
who is yet to
be tried before a court.
Okay.
That is the position of the MPP.
Okay. That's fair.
In all this noise that we are making, that has been the position of the MPP.
Okay.
Why don't you try the person, arrange the person before a court?
Okay.
Let the court establish whether the person is guilty or not. And Article 19 Clause 2C, it is clear.
Okay. That's fair. That's fair. Thank you, Denny. We are fortunate to have Olali join us in the studios. Ola. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. I'm so sorry. I came in late.
Sure. We pardon you today. We know that next time you will find your way here. And we understand you are coming from quite a far.
Yeah. So I'm from Ashoman Estate.
Sure.
In Domikwabenya constituency. And let me take the opportunity to say a very good morning to all the NDC members in Domikwabenya. Our Honorable MP, who is now an NDC person.
Yeah.
Something that's not been very common.
Yeah.
In Domikwabenya. My own sister, Faustina Elikulima Krugu.
Sure.
And the entire executive, led by Nilan Tilamti. Of course, that's why I cut my political teeth in Domikwabenya.
Oh, wow. 2009
was when I got my first branch position.
Oh, okay.
Back then, we still had the propaganda secretary. Now we no longer have them. We have communication officers.
Right.
Right. I owe them so much, with regards to my political ambitions and how far I've come.
Sure.
I was getting a bit confused. What are we discussing?
Oh, we were just throwing a little light on the NSS scandal.
Okay.
And before that, too, Ni made us understand that we are not going to judge you so far from January. We are going to judge you so far from March. That's your government. And that is the fact that you started operating under your own budget from March. Okay. And in the last 3 months, which is from March till now, your party is getting exposed because Ni even said that today the dollar is selling at Ni what did you say? Is that 12?
Yeah, it's almost 12 something.
Okay. So
did you verify that? You have your producers that they can do that.
Yes, my producer have sent me the rates, so
we'll
get into that. Actually, it's 10.81.
Okay.
So I would get back to you to let me know.
Yes.
So. And yes, we got into that, and then what you walked into was about the NSS scandal, which you listened to him, made a stance that the NPP is not actually against people being prosecuted
Good.
For corruption or misconduct in office. But then the way and manner in which the AG's office is going about it is what he has a problem with. And so yes, that is.
Okay. So when you sent me the link, I listened to him quite briefly, though, especially on the matter of we going to be judged on only 3 months. I find that very very interesting. Did you leave a budget?
Oh, yeah, we give you a budget.
Who read that budget?
See, I mean, Anta read budgets in January, and 68 billion Ghanaian cedis was approved for the NDC government to operate within the first 3 months.
Okay.
That's the first quarter. Before their own budget statement, under the Public Financial Management Act, was read by their finance minister, and eventually it was passed.
So 68 billion.
So I don't want to, judge them from January to,
June
date.
Okay.
Because the first 3 months.
I think that's enough information. Yeah. Okay. Budgets are policy documents. They mean absolutely nothing if you don't have people who are running the budget. It's just a sheet of paper with ink on it.
Okay.
So if you left a budget of 68 billion read by Anta or whoever for 3 months, the budget didn't run itself. It was run by human beings.
So whatever happened,
so what's the logic?
Whatever expenditure under that budget is what tells what the budget effect or
like
influence.
I said, the budget is a sheet of paper with ink on it. That's all. It is run by human beings.
Okay.
And we are talking about a government. So what you set aside the human beings, the Honorable Minister of Finance, Atufos, you set him aside just because he didn't read that first 3 months budget. He ran the budget.
Okay.
And the 68 billion didn't come from the pocket of the MPP. It is money from the people of Ghana. That's our budget.
Okay.
Run by a finance minister and other ministers who form cabinet. And even beyond that, other government agencies. So I'm not getting this whole thing about, because you read the budget. So really, so what? It was run by human beings, and these human beings are still in government today as we speak.
Okay.
And are doing excellently well.
Which NI actually doesn't agree to that fact. NI, do you think they are doing well?
What I'm saying
we are going back to NI. I think you're speaking. No.
I think I have to clarify. He is not getting.
Mr. Host, do I have the floor? This is my initial submission.
You invited me, so let me briefly.
Okay.
My brother is
1 minute.
My brother is not getting.
My apologies to Fola.
My brother is not getting.
Then you're doing a lot
point.
of apologies today.
Look, my brother is not getting my point.
Yeah.
The statement I made was that, to be fair to the NDC.
Okay.
See, I am not.
He will just belabor the point. We've heard him. He will repeat the same thing. So can I proceed?
Proceed.
Good.
But what? What?
No. You come in.
No.
You come in.
I am not comfortable with him telling you what to do.
Sure, that's not going to happen.
Well, you mean I don't have the right
to raise the only reason why that
show?
happened was that he was having the floor, and I unintentionally invited you on. I hope you get me. Okay, so Hola, you can proceed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I would appreciate that I'm allowed to do my first submission at least.
Sure.
Great. So you're running a budget by human beings, indeed, and everybody can attest to the fact.
Yeah.
The finance ministry has brought about some solid fiscal policies, much of which is, the workings of the gold board that has been duly established, the trading of gold for forex, which has in itself, been able to help us shore up the cedi, one, to regain its strength against other foreign currencies.
Yeah.
As we speak. Ghana's currency, which is the cedi, ranks the best performing currency in the world.
Okay.
Now, these are facts. You can get your producers to check that.
Okay.
I do only facts anyway. I don't do speculations.
All right, sure.
As we speak, Ghana's currency is the best performing currency in the world. So, it shocks me, for anybody to try to, belittle the effort of this current government. It's completely unacceptable. Completely unacceptable. And you see, I'll say this. It's fine. If I were in the MPP, I may do same. To to have been beaten in an election, a major election, especially under the Fourth Republic. It has never happened before. 1.7 million votes difference. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, so I'll do the same if I were in their position. I mean, I think they are still recovering. It's fine. They are allowed, to do some of these things, to score a few political points. Yeah. But facts are sacred, and that's exactly what we intend to, establish on your show. And the fact still remains that Ghana is performing way, way better, indeed beyond expectation. Now we inherited a CD somewhere around 16.
Yeah, 15 point.
Same with, I think fuel was also around the same, 15, 16, thereabouts. We are buying both. I think there's some relationship between, the currency and then the fuel. They seem to have virtually the same, figures, So now we are doing around 11 for both, plus or minus. Not so. That's a difference of about 4. Now, these are facts.
Sure.
And it can only stand out of concrete policies put together by people who are thinking. They are doing a lot of thinking. It's not a miracle. It's not magic. People are thinking. They are doing the job. They are breaking their backs. They are doing the hard works. They are putting together policies. You can talk about the fiscal policies of the finance ministry. Yeah. You can talk about the performance of Bank of Ghana. You have a new governor, solid leadership. Again, let me say a good morning to him. He's my senior man. He's an old boy, Bishop Herman Kali. So we are so proud of him. Right. And then of course, Gold Board. Yeah. It's no magic. It is critical thinking. Something we've lacked in the past 8 years. Of course, if we had it, we would have been in a better place today. Wouldn't we? It's quite clear and obvious. Okay. If we had the kind of thinking that's going on in the country today, with regards to our governance, for the past 8 years, Ghana would be in a far, far better place. We would not have been declared junk status before the NDC came to power in January. Ghana was junk status. We were no longer credit worthy. Nobody was willing to lend us money. We were owing pensioners. My brother, we were owing pensioners. People who had served this country, put their monies together to go buy government bonds or papers. Sure. We took those monies and we told them to go home and go and sleep. We are doing restructuring because we are owing and we cannot pay our debts. Yeah. So they'll be giving haircuts. If you don't want a haircut, you go to hell. Pardon my French. That's what we inherited. So honestly, I expect my brothers on the other side, when they come to the show like this, they should be more remorseful, show contrition. Let people know that you are sorry for what you have done. Okay, that should be their posturing. If I'm an MPP communicator, to be honest with you, I will not touch anything regarding the performance of the NDC in government in the past 6 months. I won't.
Why?
You will embarrass yourself because the figures are there, the facts are there. It is a sterling performance. Look, by uncapping Get Fund alone, go check what's happening in our schools today. You're a journalist. Your people are here. You can Google. Look for the information or whatever it is. Headmasters are going into the markets today. They are getting food. It was quite ridiculous. I schooled in Bishop Herman in Kwando.
Okay.
Now, there's a huge market there where the bursary could easily go if the headmaster has, his release of funds to get food for cheap. What did the MPP do? They centralized it and gave it to buffer stock or whatever it was. And food had to be transported all the way from places to places, at a certain cost. Obviously, just so people could get, some kickbacks into their pockets. A completely ridiculous policy that left us worse off as a country. Now, you're hearing any noise about, secondary school education. The beautiful thing too is that from the next academic year, some private schools are going to be absorbed into the free SHS. Just by uncapping Get Fund alone.
These are the things that it has.
So you can see that there's critical thinking. Ghana is now being governed. Okay. For the past 8 years, we were just being ruled by people who had no idea. They were just up there because we had elected people to be there. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
By uncapping NHIS. Now what's happening in the health sector? Are you hearing any noise?
The nurses just resume from strike?
I'm not talking about even the nurses.
Okay.
The NHIS is not for nurses.
Oh, okay.
We'll get there. We'll get to the nurses issue.
Okay.
I mean, facilities that were old. Because it is insurance. People go to the hospital and facilities expected to be paid.
Yeah.
But the MPP for 8 years had capped NHIS. Sorry, the NHI, or the levy.
Yeah.
And what did they do with it? They gave it to Ken Oforiatta to do whatever he pleased with it. And health facilities were old. They were not being paid. Now we have uncapped it. What's happening? We have paid virtually everybody. Now that sector has become fluid, very liquid. There is money anytime.
Okay.
We are paying, trainee allowances and all that. I have my personal views on, trainee allowances. I think it's completely outdated. Because they are incentives. At the time they were introduced as incentives.
Okay.
To get people to join, either the teaching or the nursing, so that we could produce more, because we had built a lot of hospitals. We didn't have people to, work in them.
Okay.
So you give incentives for people to go and train. Now Ghana is producing more teachers and nurses than we actually need. Logically, what does that mean? There's no need to be paying, allowances any longer.
Okay.
I mean, it's actually illegal to be doing that. You are getting the point. But these are, my personal views on the matter. I believe with time, government, and I think government has been experimenting a few things on that.
Okay.
Whether to move them to student loans, which I feel is way better, because the amount is even bigger and all that. And the government could also get some fiscal space. I mean, to get some money to be able to build more hospitals or training, schools for them. So on the matter of performance, there's no argument. The figures speak for themselves. I mean, go to the communications ministry, they are doing wonderfully well. The energy ministry, we are stable with power so far. We came to meet debt upon debt.
We are stable with power.
Say again?
We are stable with power.
I'm not sure. Have you cited any document that states that we are shedding load?
So where was the 1D levy from?
Please, I check in
the time. Okay. So that's
checking the time.
Boss, you were speaking way long before I got you. So relax. Well, don't worry, we'll have a wonderful time. The D levy, as people call it, the energy sector. Okay, so now let me clarify one thing. It is not a new levy.
Okay, but if we were so much good with power, are you sure that I want to make
now there are
sure
three things with the energy sector. One, finance. 2, generation. 3, fuel. All must be available to have a stable energy or power sector. Now, when the NEC was leaving office in 2016, we had come to meet 2,500 generational capacity. By the time we were leaving in 2016, we had added 2,500 plus. So we left Ghana with 5,000 plus generational capacity. Okay. Now, we didn't leave it there. We also left the biggest investment in industry, which is the Turbo Gas, $1 billion. That gives us about 50% of our gas needs.
Okay.
So that is also, so I've mentioned two things, also generational and then fuel. Now, to the financing part of it, we left ESLA. Does this sound familiar to you? Energy Sector Levy. That money was meant to accrue so that we could pay off legacy debts in that sector, in the power energy sector. Yeah. What did the MPP do? When they came to power, they collateralized it for 15 years, took the money and blew it.
Okay.
The debts were left hanging. Right before they left power, so they were owing most of the IPPs. They had asked some of them not to proceed on their regular maintenance. That's number one, because they were afraid they would have been shedding load in an election year.
Okay, Ola,
and number two,
you are ending in 1 minute, so.
How long have I spoken?
You've spoken for 7 minutes already.
How long did you speak before I got here?
6 minutes.
You are sure?
Yeah.
He was speaking when I was walking here, my friend.
But I think I've done due justice to the time, and everyone had 10 minutes.
So of course.
Yeah. So your 10 minutes ends in the
So let me just finish with the power sector.
Sure.
So what we inherited was, a very bleak situation. There was virtually no fuel. In the absence of gas, the gas that we had supplied, the factory we had built that was supplying, in the absence of that, and then the WAPCO and all that, it meant that we had to use LCO, light crude. you need money to buy that. So I'm just driving that straight into the levy that we have sought to amend.
Okay.
We didn't introduce a new levy. It was an
You just
amendment of
amended
an existing levy
Alright.
of the 1 CD that we did. So that now you are better off. You used to buy something for 15, now you're buying it at 11. The difference is what? 4 CDs. Now everywhere on earth, in every civilized society and government, gains are levied. When we get windfalls, you levy them. You create more like an account for it, ring fence it. Nobody dips their hand into it. When you have crisis, you fall on that money, and it is normal practice everywhere on earth.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Alright.
So the 1 CD that was introduced as more like an amendment to the existing levy, that's the purpose.
That's it. Okay.
So it is going to make us readily. It's going to make LCU readily available for us anytime we need it when we don't have gas.
Okay.
So we are not plunged into darkness. And I think that's a master class,
Okay.
It was something that was fantastically thought of. Now you have made Ghanaians.
Your time is up.
You've made Ghanaians better off by giving them 4 CDs. You are just asking them to lend you 1 CD so you can do something else with it that would, help.
So that was the purpose of the levy.
Of course. And you see, in 30 seconds, let me say this. When government brings out policies, let's listen carefully. There were a lot of things I wanted to react to that are bare falsehoods.
Okay.
They are just basic falsehoods. When government is announcing a policy, listen carefully to what is being said.
Okay.
People are out there saying that this is a new levy, which is not. It's an amendment of an existing one.
Okay.
And its purpose is also known. It is a levy on the gains we are making right now, the CD strength and the difference that has been, accrued from it and all that.
Okay.
So please, let's facts. When it comes to the discussion, let's do it only facts. It makes it much easier.
All right. Thank you there, Hola. And now let's get into the main conversations. Hola, you remember that when your party was in opposition, there were discussions, resistance and opposition, backlash onto the then government in power, which is the NPP, that the NPP is packing the courts with judges, the Supreme Court especially. And then you come into power and we see your president also nominate some 7 new judges to be appointed into the court. What at the back of what is this coming in? Because if we thought back then that packing the court with so much judges that we might not even need, what has changed now?
So I would also respond quickly with a question.
Okay.
Is that an infringement on the law, on the constitution, with regards to what the president is allowed to do, appointing judges to our courts? Currently, what he's doing, is that an infringement on our constitution?
Okay.
Well, absolutely not. Let me help
sure.
you. There is no infringement.
It's the same way it wasn't when the...
Yeah, exactly the point. And I'm coming to that.
All right.
So you get to know where the concerns really are.
All right.
When we were trying to raise those concerns back then.
Okay.
And it was quite simple. Now, over here, then, let me quickly, clear something that I heard when I was on my way here.
Yeah.
It is normal practice everywhere on earth, especially if you are someone who follows the U.S. system of, jurisprudence.
Yeah.
The Attorney General and all their prosecutors, they hold regular press briefings about prosecutions. It is normal practice everywhere on earth.
Okay.
So our Attorney General hasn't done anything wrong by briefing the press on anything. And he's never called anybody a thief. Indeed, he has never accused anybody of any crime. At all points in time, he has stated clearly that these are suspects that are clearly undergoing investigations. Look, there are a lot of people who are going and are being questioned and all that. Charges have not even been leveled against them.
Okay.
Unless someone will say that they don't, or they are not aware of how the legal process is. You don't just run people to court. You don't do that. You may have to invite them. You may have to arrest some for interrogation and all that.
Okay.
When you are done. And indeed, it's a matter of even tactics. Every prosecutor may have their tactics. Look, you could be invited today. After interrogating you, you'll be released to go home. In the next 5 minutes, you could be arrested, no longer invited.
Okay.
For questioning on another matter, or probably even on the same matter, and detained. It's a matter of tact that the prosecutors may use. Coming to brief us is something we should all be applauding.
Okay.
Because then it means that justice has been made so public now that our prosecutors are carrying us along. Like it or not, most Ghanaians voted for the NDC because of oral.
Sure.
And they expect to see people prosecuted. Even if they'll be brought in wheelchairs to Ghana. We expect to see that. Anybody who has in any way embezzled funds, misappropriated funds, willfully caused financial loss to the state, whether you will be on your sick bed, in a wheelchair, on an air ambulance, we expect to have you here. You don't determine how we should prosecute you for something we suspect you of doing. You have absolutely no right.
Okay.
If you feel infringed by processes that prosecutors are using, we have the courts. We slap, a bill on you, 50 million. If you have a problem with it, you go to the courts. The courts vary bail every time.
Okay.
So nobody's going to determine to our prosecutors how they should go about their jobs. They know their jobs. If you feel infringed, go to court.
Okay.
So, with regards to, or back to what we were discussing, the judges. In America, for instance, the colors of all their judges are known.
Okay.
If you belong to the left or the right, they know.
They know.
Indeed, it is part of the research they will do about you, your background, or your profile, everything, the cases you have tried, all the judgments, where they lean to. It is known before you are even put on the bench.
Okay.
At the Supreme Courts, they know that you are for the left, or you are for the Democrats, or you are the Republicans. They know. Over here, that's not our practice. So there's some form of uneasiness anytime that judges are going to be appointed and all that. That gets in the point.
Sure.
Now I'll give a typical example. His Lordship, Yoni Kulendi, who appointed him?
Who did?
In fact, he actually serves. He works in the former president's law firm. They are very good friends.
Okay.
He appointed him. In recent cases that he sat on the Supreme Court, he's been part of all those who ruled in favor of the state. Not so.
Sure.
But one would expect that Yoni Kulendi would, tilt towards a certain side. So now others have been appointed. Have you been able to establish their political colors?
Not yet.
So what's the issue right now? Is it with the numbers? Because if you listen to the vetting, I have followed the vetting.
Yeah.
Most of them are even calling for more numbers.
Which you support?
Of course.
Okay.
The backlog of, you see, I go to, the court is an open place. I go there sometimes to follow, some of the cases and all that. And look, being a judge is no joke. And there's a backlog of cases. If your case has to be adjourned for 3 months, then you would understand the need for us to have more judges. A case which would have just been expedited or done within a month. But because of the backlog, he knows that, look, he can't fix you in the next month. He will go and put you in 3 months' time. And it could be a dire case for you. Someone could even be, people will be you assassin and all that. You wish that case would go, quite quickly so you can be able to,
sure.
Protect your property. But because we don't have the good numbers of it, and most of those who are being interviewed now, at the vetting, they made it very clear that they wish the numbers could improve. Because most of them are also aging.
Okay.
And in America, that's what happens. The older you are getting, the less cases you are giving. Indeed, you choose the number of cases you want to do now.
Okay.
What that means is that others must be brought in.
Okay.
Because there must be no gap at any point in time, especially when we expect that justice will be expedited.
All right.
So I don't have a problem with the numbers. Indeed, I think the numbers should improve. That's one. If it's about political colors that we want to establish, let's have that conversation too. Because I listened to Sir Dennis. And look, he's someone you can listen to the whole day when it comes to jurisprudence. He knows what he's about. Okay. Why he's not been on the bench all these while, I think we know what happened in the past 8 years. And that's why people would think that the NDC has been complaining, because it looked like the government of the day was just packing people onto the bench to favor their kind of judgments.
How was that established?
But it was evidence. 7-0, 5-0, and all that. You are in this country. Were you not in this country?
So
the national security minister at the time, Kandapa, came out. I think it was at the meeting of with judges. He was very clear that the manner in which their judgments are coming out of the courts is a cause of concern, a serious cause of concern for national security. Is Kandapa an NDC man? My brother, I'm asking you.
No.
Kandapa is an NDC man.
No.
But he made these assertions. That it was becoming, way too much, 7-0, 5-0, and all that. He was the then national security minister, an MPP man, a stalwart in the MPP. He made these comments. Is he an NDC man? He's not.
Okay.
So it meant that whatever we were also, trying to state as our concerns those times were valid.
Okay.
These are valid points. I don't think anybody would want to argue it.
Okay.
It was just too brazen and too clear, too obvious.
Okay.
That's why we complain about it. Right. But now you have 3-2, 4-1, and all that. It's allowed.
So the numbers is what you are looking at.
So I'm asking what the conversation is about. Because if it's the numbers, I'm even saying that the numbers should improve. It should go up.
So
Mahama should appoint more.
So then,
because there are backlogs.
What was your concern back then?
Oh, I just told you the concern.
Okay.
The manner of the judgments.
All right.
Which at the time a national security minister even complained about.
Okay.
That the 5-0 and the 7-0s were becoming too much. The unanimous was becoming too much.
Okay.
These are facts.
Okay.
You are getting my point. So that was our concern.
All right.
That's why I'm not even referring to any NDC person who said anything. I have given you a name. Okay. And the name is Kandapa.
Okay.
He was the former national security minister. He complained that the manner in which he was going was becoming concerning.
Okay.
And it could be a national security threat.
Okay.
So clearly, anybody would agree with the NDC. And we all saw what happened in this country. At a certain point, the Attorney General of the day, who is alleged to have been colluding with, witnesses. Serious collusion with witnesses.
Okay. You've done 9 months.
So we jail, Atufo. Oh, really? Already?
Yes. Yeah. You started at...
and I particularly am expecting to, get the opportunity to see the day Godfrey Dami will defend himself in court. Based on that. Yes.
Okay.
He's alleged to have colluded with people. We heard the audio and all that. Okay. It could be true, it could be false. But I think he should be given the opportunity.
That is going to be...
He should be given the opportunity, to clear his name. Because it's a serious, crime.
Okay.
He could be disbarred. Are you aware?
Sure.
Exactly. Collusion is a serious crime. In fact, it's a heinous crime in law.
Okay.
So I expect that they give him the opportunity to, clear his name. But if he goes and is unable to, it's all good. you answer for your, your deeds.
Thank you, Deola. Thank you. You see, when you were in power, when your party was in power, this issue of judges being appointed into the Supreme Court was raised by the then opposition, the NDC, who are now in power. And then we wake up one day to hear the president nominate about 7 judges to be appointed in the Supreme Court. Is that fair to you? The same thing that they complained about when they were in opposition. And now they are doing the same thing in power. Their justification, does it stand valid, or you think this is some political scorecard as perpetuated in some places in the political scene?
All right, thank you very much.
Yeah.
I have 2 positions to state as far as this issue is concerned.
Okay.
I have always maintained my position that, look, developing a country, a lot of effort must be, considered.
Okay.
Not just because we are politicians, we have the platform to talk. Whenever we appear on platforms, we make statements without any justification. We make statements that would jeopardize the fortunes of the country of this country as a developing country. My brother sat here and he was making all sort of statement which to me I felt it was unhealthy to the conversation that we are having. You can make your point without personal attack.
Okay.
You can make your point without, well, I don't want to go there.
Okay.
But I still maintain the position that when we appear on platforms like this, we should be able to, one, educate, digest the topic or whatever we are to discuss very well in the interest of the state, not just, to satisfy your political party. He was talking about certain judgment which was given some years ago under the NPP government, unanimous FC, all sorts of things. 3 days ago, if you listen to
the veteran,
Sir Dennis J, he was emphatically on the decisions of the court. That when you go to court and you lose the case, then you go out there and shouting and making statement, unfounded statement. When you go to court and you lose the case, it doesn't mean as what? Unanimous FC. When they were going for their contest, the chairmanship contest, what did I say say about Chairman Fusuampofu? About the collation of their results. What was the position of Asedun Ketia? So you went to court with baseless, petition. With petition that you can't even support with evidence. And you expect the court to give you judgment in your favor. Doesn't work. And then today when you appear before this, on this panel, we're still repeating the same thing. I think we should do better as a country and as politicians. This kind of statement just to satisfy your political party or your viewers, it's not healthy. Now he's talking about appointment of Yoni Kulendi and co, or appointment of judges under the NPP government. That it was that bad.
Yeah, he believes that it was signal toward a certain,
And you ask a follow-up question.
Yeah.
That whatever President Kufuor did in the appointment of the judges, was it unlawful? He couldn't, answer that.
Did you ask me that question?
Oh, I did.
He did ask you that question.
You couldn't. Oh, yes, I did.
He did ask you that question.
Oh, I did.
He did. You can play the video back.
You did not.
I did.
You see?
I made a comment.
Please, let me.
My initial comment.
You see? I'll whatever time he takes, I'll replace it in yours.
You have your time to rebut, but the videos are there, and you can play.
I started my submission on the matter. I raised the point. Indeed, I asked you the question.
Yes.
If you think what President Mahama is doing today was illegal or not, and I told you don't even answer. I'll answer for myself.
And
I said that it is properly founded in law. Didn't I say that?
And I gave another question to you that. So, does that make what Akufo-Addo also did in power right or wrong?
What was my response?
You said you will get there, and then you followed up with yourself.
So you see,
so it means I didn't answer it at all.
Please.
So don't sit here and say that I didn't answer.
That's fair.
Please.
Fact I didn't answer doesn't mean I couldn't answer. They are two different things.
Please
put that on record.
That's fair.
Look.
Fair. Okay.
Look.
Yes, sir.
I know his type. Okay, when they are being caught up, that is how they behave. But you see, appointment of judges. What was the position of President Mahama in opposition? There is clear video evidence. He stated it, plain language, that he believes in what? Capping of judges to the Supreme Court.
Okay.
To about 15. The videos are there. Video evidence.
Okay.
That he believes the Supreme Court should have more than 15 judges. Today, how many judges do we have? And how many did the president appoint in addition to the existing ones?
Okay.
Today, we are talking about 21 judges at the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
So, the conduct of the president today defies his position in opposition. You said there should be a capping on the appointment of Supreme Court judges, because you believe these people are doing the biddings of the Akufo-Addo government. And that when you get the opportunity to be president, you will not appoint more than 15 judges to the Supreme Court, because your principles, your beliefs is against that. Today, when you came, you started firing people, suspending people. In addition to that, you have appointed 7 more judges to the Supreme Court. Today, if these 7 judges get parliamentary approval, we'll be having 21 judges at the Supreme Court.
But before we go on, the suspension, who is it related to?
Oh, the Chief Justice.
But we all know that was in due process of the law. The president was petitioned in course of that action.
Do you want us to discuss that?
No, I'm only trying to state that clearly.
When you say
so that we don't make it seem like he just suspended
when
the Chief
you
Justice.
say we all agree that the procedure was
the president petitioned or not, or he acted on his own?
Relax.
Okay.
Relax. Article 146 is clear.
Okay.
The Chief Justice. What was the consensus of the Chief Justice when she, was to appear before the committee set up by the president? Her concern was that, look, under the laws of this country, Article 19 of the Constitution gives me that prerogative right to prepare a proper defense in court, to defend myself. Listen carefully.
I'm listening.
A prima facie evidence has been established by a so-called Council of State.
But how can we term them a so-called?
Please. We will get there.
Did we have a Council of State under your government?
You understand the reason why I said the so-called Council of State? I will establish it.
I said not so long ago you mentioned how we shouldn't go personal.
And I'm telling you, I will justify and establish the reason why I'm saying that.
Okay.
A prima facie evidence has been established on the face of the petition. Okay? On the face of the petition, a prima facie evidence has been established by the Council of State. Today, if I ask you the reasons for the establishment of the prima facie evidence, can you tell me what were the reasons? What was the basis? On what law was that prima facie evidence established by the Council of State? Will you be able to tell me? You won't be able to tell me. You see, the Chief Justice didn't occupy that office as Tokonu.
Okay.
She went there on the principles of what? Law.
Okay.
Article 144 of the Constitution, the appointment of what? Of the justices of the Supreme Court. She went there on the principle, on law.
Okay.
So if you want to take her out and you want to establish a prima facie evidence against her, don't you think that prima facie evidence should be based on what? On law. That could establish.
But
I'm coming. That could establish the reasons for that cause of answering.
But was the process in any way unlawful?
What I'm saying, you don't get it. The prima facie evidence established, which mandates the president to set up the committee for her to appear before the committee to answer questions. And I'm asking you today, if I should ask you the reasons for the prima facie evidence, the basis, under which law was this prima facie evidence established, which could give the Chief Justice that opportunity to also prepare a proper defense under Article 19 to appear before the committee to defend herself. Do you know it? So the thing is, you have to appear before a committee to answer questions. The questions you have to answer, you don't know the reasons why you have to answer those questions. You don't know the law, that established those questions that you have to answer in order for you to prepare another law to defend yourself. This is a matter of law. It's not about common sense or assumptions.
Wasn't she given a copy of the petition?
She was given the petition, the petition.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the prima facie evidence. The petition is different from prima facie evidence.
Okay.
The petition was given to the Council of State to establish a prima facie evidence on the face of the petition.
Okay. So
the question is,
the law states that. Okay, let me ask this: you are a law student. Does the law state that the evidence of the prima facie should be made known to the person in question?
But this is a matter of law and principles.
Oh no, I'm only asking.
Well, of course, a matter of law and principles.
So
because I'm coming. The reason why I'm saying this is the Chief Justice occupied that office under Article 144, which is law.
Okay.
Listen carefully, which is law. You can only take her out of that office when she has misconducted herself. She has done certain things contrary to the what? To the rules of her office.
Okay.
And I'm saying that the prima facie evidence that was established by the Council of State, which is to appear before the committee to answer those questions, under which law? They said the woman has misconducted herself. That thing that you call, misbehavior.
The misconduct.
The misconduct. Under which law did you establish that thing? This will give the woman or the Chief Justice the opportunity to also
defend herself.
Look into the law and defend herself.
Okay.
Prepare a proper defense to appear before the committee.
Okay. We all believe, and as a student of law, that law is precedent, right?
Yeah.
Let's roll back a little bit to the issue of Madam Charlotte Osei.
Okay.
I hope you're observing the time anyway.
Yes, I am. I am. Don't worry. Yours will be agile to you as sufficiently as it's supposed to. In the case of Madam Charlotte Osei, was her given that same opportunity you are advocating for Madam Tokonu today?
Charlotte Osei issue. What was the reasons for her removal? If you look at the audit report, Auditor General's report in 2018, page 49, captures where Dumelevo, who was appointed by the NDC government on the 6th of January when they were leaving office, he established that the woman has engaged in procurement breaches. A certain amount of money, which is about 50 million USD, has been misappropriated. Okay, there was a petition against her based on the auditor's report. Their auditor that they appointed, report 2018 established that. The same Charlotte Osei also petitioned the president against her two deputies. Listen carefully.
I'm listening. I'm following.
Charlotte Osei petitioned the president against what? Her two deputies. The two deputies also petitioned the president against Charlotte Osei, because ABCD has been done.
Okay.
So the basis of a removal, is established by law. Auditor's report is, auditor's report is a law.
What was Charlotte Osei's petition about when she petitioned the president? Was she requesting for something?
She was requesting for the president to dismiss these people, her deputies.
Okay. Fair.
And the deputies are also petitioning the president that this woman has engaged in embezzlement of funds, which are about $50 million, which was established by the Auditor General's report in 2018.
Okay. For the sake of time,
so that's if you want us to discuss this, it should be a major topic to discuss.
Sure.
Me, I am of the view that anytime I appear on political platform, I always want to educate.
Okay.
I don't like propaganda and throwing figures about without justification.
All right.
So President Mahama in opposition is different from President Mahama in government. The capping that you preach against, that it shouldn't be more than 15 judges at the Supreme Court. Today you are doing 21. If these 7 judges should go through the processes of Parliament, you are doing 21. So it defies your position when you were doing your propaganda.
Okay. So what do you think?
So
as
that
the
is
reason for
that is the first one. The second one aspect has to do with the appointment of justices to the Supreme Court, which is done by the President in consultation with Council of State with prior approval of Parliament.
Okay.
Under Article 144. I have personal observations about it.
Okay.
Because it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
And when you listen to Sir Dennis J at his vetting, he stated it clearly.
Okay.
That when you do that, the separation of powers, checks and balance becomes an issue.
Okay.
Becomes an issue.
So what do
in
you
a
think
case
would
of
be the right procedure?
in a case of what do you call it? Asari versus Attorney General 2004, it was established when the vice president, the president is out of the country and they are unable to perform, the Speaker of Parliament takes over. When the Speaker of Parliament is not available, the Chief Justice must take over. But how? The Chief Justice belongs to a different organ of government. The Speaker of Parliament belongs to a different organ of government. The President and the Vice President belongs to a different organ of government. Why would you want these people to, somebody to act as the head of the judiciary and still act as what? The head of executive. Okay. Or somebody to act as what? Head of parliament and still be the head of what? Executive. So there is an issue. Okay. So with the appointment of justices to the Supreme Court, under Article 144, I have personal opinions about it.
Okay.
It shouldn't be the case.
Okay. So what would be?
Because when we do that, that is when political parties will try to push their own people in there. Like what we saw in opposition when President Mahama was met the NDC lawyers and was telling them to get prepared that when he come, he's going to appoint them, some of them to the bench, some of them to blah 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 blah. But that's the position of the NDC in the opposition. And when they came, they are doing it.
That's what they say.
That is what President Mahama said. It's on record. There's video evidence.
Okay.
There's video evidence. So you see, when you do this,
you are ending in one.
I get it. When you do this, at the end of the day, whether MPP or NDC will come and the people will have issues with how justice is served or how justice is administered. Because it is believed that when you came, you appointed your people to be in these areas.
Okay.
And this thing threatens what we call investor confidence.
Okay.
Because in some situations, okay, if you should have legal battle as a foreign company in this state and the case goes to the court, do you think the investor will get judgment when government has packed his people at the court?
Okay, your time is up. Your time is up. So we'll take that particular subject as an entity on its own one of these days, so that we get your educational facts on that. Hola.
So in one breath, President Mahama promised in opposition that he was going to appoint more NDC people onto the bench. And then in the next, he equally promised that he's going to cap it to
the double standard of the president. There are video evidence to show. I am not saying
my
it.
brother.
Okay. There are video evidence. So you should establish that.
Okay.
That Newcomer is not the one saying it. There are video evidence of the president saying it.
So Newcomer, we hear you.
We
hear you.
Hola, you know, I'm giving you 2 minutes to say whatever you have to say.
To rebut to all that has been said.
It's fair.
I mean, how is that fair?
I think what the fair I don't have issues to talk about.
Honestly,
I don't have issues to rebut.
How is that fair? I mean, a lot is been said and it should be.
A lot is been said.
You know, to be.
You don't have anything
to be corrected. I mean, so these are basic issues, and it's a matter of understanding what the issues are.
Okay.
I have said that there will always be biases on the bench. In some countries, those biases are known.
Okay.
When anybody about to be appointed to the bench is profiled, you see it clearly there that all their judgments go towards the left or towards the right. It is known before they are even put on the bench.
Okay.
So naturally, it shouldn't be, anything that would cause any worry. What happens in the US, for instance, is that because we know that this is justice, this is how they, normally rule towards when the bench is being constituted, to sit on the matter. I mean, they do it with a certain, finesse. I mean, so that they don't just go there and then the usual will come out. but then they are also equally very professional. I think that's what we should be looking at.
Okay.
Beyond the biases, because that's what the bias there, you can't take it away.
All right.
What we should look at and encourage. That's why I mentioned, His Lordship, Yoni Kulendi, who worked in the chambers of, our former president, who appointed him. Now is running judgments that supports, the state's case and all that. So there is that kind of thing that we should all move behind. That look, let's get these people to act professionally at all times.
Okay.
And then we are safe on these, issues. As to whether who appointed who and all that, which all happened here in this country in the past 8 years. The number of people who were clear, some were, had contested in MPP primaries, who were appointed to the bench and all that. I mean, we saw all these things in this country. I mean, so these are facts that can also be established. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it when President Mahama says that more NDC lawyers should brace up to join the bench, to balance the bench. I have stated to you over here, everywhere on earth, go to the UK, go to the US, the bench is balanced.
Okay.
And we know where everybody's color is. Okay. If you're towards the left, we know. If you're towards the right, we know. So there is absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Just that we should require that they do a professional job. It's as simple as that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Since we are still on these issues of Supreme Court and judges, one of the judges was vetted, and the person of Justice Senior made a profound advocacy. And studying what he said, we are all complaining about how there should be special courts being set up for some cases because of how long it takes to get prosecution in this country. And so he is advocating for timelines for some special cases at the courts, so that we know specifically well that in the next 1 month we should be done with this case. Some cases that we have on board, I mean, the public are actually hungry for the prosecution too. So, but what do you make of this advocacy?
I support him completely. I think he's absolutely right. And if you see the posting of the current acting CJ, the moment he assumed that office, remember what he did? He asked that all cases be directed to him. Do you understand why? Because he quickly needs to determine which cases. I mean, he's a seasoned jurist. He's been in that space for a very long time.
Okay.
He can see from the face of any document that, look, this case could be around for a year. He can see. He can determine it.
Okay.
So all cases should come to me. Then I will decide which case goes to who and at what time.
Okay.
Now, in the course of the vetting, too, a lot of things came out. We are told some of the justices who are going to, the Supreme Court, they are very excellent when it comes to expediting cases.
Okay.
When you enter their courts, I mean, when they were at the appeals and all those courts, when you enter their courts, expect that your case is going to go very smoothly.
Okay.
They have, I don't know, it looks like they are masters when it comes to case management. You're not going to be doing and there in their courts.
Okay.
Those baseless, technical things and be wasting everybody's time. You can't do it in their courts. And I'm particularly excited that some of them are going to the bench.
Okay.
It means that we'll see a lot of cases expedited. Look, justice delayed is justice denied. It's as simple as that.
Okay.
I am not for that kind of thing that, the wheels of justice grinds slow. I am not for it. There are certain things that people do in court. Like I told you, I spend some of my leisure times sitting in open court, watching some of the processes. Some of the lawyers just basically come there to come and delay the court. Some will not even appear at all, especially those who know that their clients are guilty. They will waste everybody's time.
Yeah.
So I am all for the fact that if we can have special courts, of course. I think under former President Kufuor, we had the fast track courts, not so.
Yeah.
And they tried a lot of cases.
Sure.
Of course, there were challenges with some of the cases. Some people were remanded and their dockets got missing and all that. They were in remand for close to 20 years and all that. We understand.
Yeah.
But as we improve our jurisprudence, yes, let's have those courts, those special courts. Let's get more judges. We have a lot of seasoned lawyers who can easily move up to the bench so that we can assign more cases to them. When it comes to the other justices who, have a record of expediting cases. Let's give them more cases, like the current, acting chief justice is trying to do. They know themselves and they know which case to go. So I agree completely with, his lordship, Jamepe, on this matter. We should have those special courts. We should have timelines If you're a lawyer, and there are also, penalties for that anyway. In open court, a judge can be straight and tell you in your face, if you are trying to waste my time, you'll be in serious trouble.
Okay.
Your case may even be thrown out or something like that, because sometimes it's very glaring that, look, this guy is just trying to waste the time of the court. So let's have timelines. We tried it with election petition. 2021. Yeah, that's the latest petition. Remember when the court decided to do case management and then set some timelines, because in 2013, Bawumia and the MPP wasted Ghana's time for 8 months. So we decided that, look, going forward, we are not going to have that kind of, duplicate, triplicate, quadruplicate. We don't want to have those things to waste anybody's time again. So they decided that they manage the case, bring affidavits and all those kind of things. Let's set timelines and all that. I think what His Lordship Jamafa is saying runs on the same tangent. Set time. Anybody who is wasting your time, throw the case out, throw the human being out, charge the lawyer. There are a lot of, look, you'll be shocked. Like I just said, somebody had to spend 20 years in prison.
Wrongly.
20 good years. And now he's been released because he didn't even commit a crime anyway in the first place.
Sure.
Chachuti Kata. Jailed for a law that was enacted after he was out of office. Completely ridiculous. But he spent time in jail and nearly even died in jail for that. He came out, did his appeal, and was acquitted.
But can we say that the crime doesn't expire?
Willfully causing financial loss to the state did not exist when the NEC was in government.
Okay.
It was the MPP and Akufo who enacted that law.
Okay.
How do you charge somebody with a crime that didn't exist at the time he did something? How is that even possible? But the man spent time in jail because of this. But eventually his appeals went through. And he rejected the pardon, and rightly so. A man of principle. Remember when former President Kufuor was leaving office and decided to pardon him. He rejected it and went through his appeal, and he won.
Sure.
So I am all for setting timelines, but yes, the thorough work should be done.
Okay.
Our justice systems must improve.
Okay.
And I'm all for all the kind of reforms that, look, the vetting period has given us a lot of opportunity to learn a lot of things. We are getting to know some things in Ghana's jurisprudence that, look, need to be corrected immediately. For me, for the life of me, why should somebody go steal a goat that costs about 1,000 cedis and go and spend like 5 years in jail? Completely needless. Just do the math. He will eat in the morning in jail, in the afternoon, in the evening. When he falls sick, you would have to take care of him and all that for 5 years. How much is the goat?
Let's say 1,000 cedis.
And you think the state will spend 1,000 cedis in 5 years on somebody in prison? Completely needless. So we should also be thinking of how to restructure our punitive regime also.
Okay.
Custodial sentencing is go to Nsawam and see the place is choked.
Yeah.
We are still dumping more people. Then I think one of the challenges we have is that we do not have jails in Ghana.
Okay.
From police, we are going to prison.
Okay.
So jails should be in the middle, so to hold those who are on remand. So that while you are there, your dockets are being processed. You can reappear before the court. And usually, elsewhere, the jails are closest to the courts, because from there you go to court and go and plead your case. You are innocent, you go home. But over here, people who are still in courts are in someone, and then their dockets will get missing. 10 years, you are still there. Nobody has heard your case and all that. So a lot of reforms must happen. Yes, I agree. The timelines and everything must come in. But we need more courts, more judges to expedite cases. Because look, I know somebody who was fighting the case of land. He died in the course of fighting the case.
Wow.
Because they kept adjourning. Today you go, they adjourn. Tomorrow you go, you adjourn. So it's a complete waste of everybody's time. And these are the things that I think would not engender proper investor confidence.
Okay.
If you have a fluid judicial system where cases are heard quickly and all that, it improves everybody's confidence. Everybody would want to come and invest in your country because they know that if there's an issue, adjudication will not be a problem.
Okay.
They will not spend too much time trying to try these cases and all that.
All right.
So I'm all for what Justice Jamafa is saying.
Thank you very much, Dawola. And you know the most interesting part of this.
No, tell me.
You ended right on time. Like
of course.
You had 12 minutes and you've done due justice.
I've been doing this for the past 6 years. I think I know my way around. My way around time.
Yeah. You were in some laughter mood whilst
I was surprised when my brother said more judges. Few months ago said less judges. Today, more judges. Which is which?
Why did you hear me say less judges?
My president said less judges.
Where did you hear him say less judges?
The president is on video.
And I'm asking you, same person who says NDC lawyers should gear up to go up to the bench. Is that not going to add to the bench, to balance the bench?
So it tells you the double standard of the president.
How is that more or less?
You see, but I'm not surprised. That the character of the NDC and the kind of people in government. Less judges, less than 6 months, more judges. But you see, I support this call of, setting a certain period or time frame for certain cases to be, administered. But what I do not support is the introduction of the tribunals. Okay?
Okay, but why?
The introduction of tribunals.
Beautiful question.
Why?
You see, this country has a record. When in the year 1960s, when a draconian rule was introduced by President Dr. Kwame Nkrumah called the PDA Act, where people are tried, arrested, and the next day they are tried without fair trial, thrown into jail. And then they say want to introduce that thing. I think it will be disastrous to find ourselves in situation like that. Gold board. Yeah. If you look at the act carefully, the gold board, when people commit offense or when people go contrary to the sections of the act, the gold board will set up tribunals to try the person. Do you know what that means?
No. It means
the government at the end of the day is going to be a judge in his own case, determine your fate, whether you are liable or not, depending on the political callous. You can be just arrested, thrown into jail, because Sami Jemfi didn't give you license to go and buy gold. That's it. Something we cannot, agree to.
Are you allowing him to misinform your listeners?
It's a fact. You know that.
The reason why we are here is
that is the gold board.
So don't worry.
The gold board issue.
You are allowing him to misinform your listeners.
Check the act. If you add the gold board act, check it. The gold board act the gold board as an institution set up committees and others to try people who offend the law. And that is the introduction of the tribunals I'm talking about. The judge, at the end of the day, is the government. The complainant, at the end of the day, is the government. So which is which? So I do not support the introduction of tribunals because it defeats principles of fair hearing or fair trial. You cannot be a judge in your own case. You cannot arrest people, try them without ample time to defend themselves. Article 19 is there. Article 19.3. Everybody, including somebody who is facing a treasonable offense or somebody who has committed a treasonable offense, must be given an ample time to prepare to go and defend him or herself.
Okay.
So I do not support the introduction of tribunals.
Okay.
You are gone. You are gone. No. But justice must be seen to be served.
Okay.
And it shouldn't just be, you were arrested yesterday night. 3 days later, you have been jailed. Your case is, it has been determined and you have been jailed. No.
Okay, so you think there should be more time?
Of course.
Preparations on defense.
If my brother this morning is telling us to get more judges, it's another conversation that we can all sit down and discuss.
Okay.
But I am judging them based on what the president told us in the position.
Okay, that's fair.
But in real terms or in real fact, the reality is that there are a lot of cases at the court. Sometimes you go to a judge I mean, a court, and the judge is having over 500 cases.
So you think that if there are more judges,
of
some
course,
of these things could be.
Of course, and that is why I said it from the beginning of this conversation that politicians shouldn't, I mean, only appear on political platforms to make political statements just to win political power.
Okay.
As a developing country, there are a lot of things we can sit down and talk.
Okay.
You see,
share the same.
my brother has made a lot of statements, stated, various positions. But behind the scene, he disagreed with those statements. He disagreed with those positions. I mean, I know him.
Oh, really?
He's my friend. I know him.
Okay.
All MPP communicators are clairvoyant. you don't know?
Did you get it?
He can even tell what you are thinking right now in your head.
Do you get it? In real terms, he's like, I mean, he doesn't support it. But because of politics, because of Talk Ghana radio this morning, he will state it and just get out. When he step out of the this studio, he will be saying different things. But I think we can always do better when we engage ourselves
as citizens.
Yes, as citizens. Get a clear roadmap for the country in the interest of everybody. Okay. Not just NPP want to win power or NDC want to win power.
Okay.
It shouldn't be about politics all the time.
Okay.
We should also think about how to develop the structures. For instance, we are talking about fast tracking cases. We also need what we call facilities, infrastructure to do so. When the Akufo-Addo government came, they started building various courts, district court, lower court, a lot of them, high court, a lot of them. Do you get it? It's a kind of conversation we can all talk of.
Sure.
So that is my own position.
Your position.
My brother, two quick things.
Okay.
Sure. Two. I think I forgot in the course of my submission.
Right.
One.
Yeah.
I think earlier my brother mentioned about the suspended Chief Justice.
Yeah.
She was not handed a blank sheet before she proceeded on her suspension.
Okay.
A prima facie case had been established against her. She is aware. Her lawyers are aware. Which ones they decided to go and contest in court, they have done so. Other people who are not even part of the matter have also taken aspects of that case to court. And judgments have been passed on those issues.
Okay.
So she's not been suspended based on a plain sheet on which nothing is written. A case has been established against her. If you want us to repeat some of the things here on radio, it is fine. We can go ahead and do that.
The same judge, the same judge who dismissed the application. Okay,
relax. So I have given you free information. I mean, a prima facie case has been established against her. That's why she is facing the committee now.
Okay.
Which parts she, was concerned about, she herself through her lawyers took them to court.
Okay.
And the court has, dealt with the matter. Okay. So let nobody deceive anybody. Number two, with the tribunal, it says it's established to settle disputes, often in a specific area of law. Listen very carefully.
Okay.
And can be part of a larger court system or operate independently. So if anybody sits here and tells you that the NDC is going to form a law unto itself, constitute a tribunal of like-minded NDC, probably in their constituency offices, and try people for issues without even hearing them or giving them the opportunity to defend themselves, it's palpable falsehood. As I've just read to you what a tribunal is.
Sure.
Part of a court system, it is established by law.
Sure.
So tribunals don't operate on their own.
It's part of a system.
It is part of a court system.
Larger system that.
So a judge can decide that, look, send this one here. I mean, it could be wasting my time in open court.
Okay.
So send it here. Tribunal is working on it. They encounter any challenges with it, you can bring it up.
Okay.
That's why we have courts. Even if you go to church, in church we even have courts. The lower courts are the locals. I worship with the Presby Church.
Okay.
So the locals are the lower courts. And you move to the next court, the district and all that. Same thing with the judicial system.
Okay.
It is all in the vein of trying to expedite cases.
Okay.
one thing all Ghanaians are complaining about.
Yeah, it's the delays in
exactly our point.
Judicial system.
So PDA is not coming back. That is not the purpose of bringing back tribunals.
Tribunals, okay.
And if he doesn't know, let me tell him. Even in established democracies like America, they still have those laws on their books.
Okay.
They still have those laws on their books. You could be arrested without reason. In the States.
Okay.
You could be arrested without reason. They jail you, they try you, they keep you. The government can even keep you. You are out of sight. Nobody is going to see you.
Okay.
And it happens everywhere. And it's a matter of security.
Okay.
You could be a threat. And all that. And it's the way, I think it's called Homeland, something like that. And there are people who do that. You know, yes, they have their CIA, their FBI. And they can pick you up at any time without cause.
Those Homeland Security.
Exactly the point.
Yeah. Okay.
And there are reasons for doing that.
Okay.
But that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about tribunals established by law that are part of court systems. To help expedite cases in our judicial system. That's exactly what we are talking. So let nobody misinform anybody over here.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. That's fair. Thank you very much. And let's get into our last topic for discussion as our time is nearing closer to an end of the show. About 2 weeks ago, the OSP came out to declare the former finance minister a wanted man, placed him on a red notice, which his lawyers came out with some informations about his health and all that. And, you know, just some few days ago, there is a report out. I don't know if it has been established to the OSP's office officially. But then his family has come out to say that, oh yes, he has had a successful surgery, as they mentioned earlier. And so some concerned people are calling for his name to be dropped from the red notice, because we now know that he had a reasonable cause for not appearing as at the time he was needed in the country. What do you make of this case? Do you think that, or do the OSP stance as
how many minutes do we have?
We have just about 8 minutes to go.
So it's not a matter. It's just open and shut. We won't talk plenty about this matter. Yes. The fact is very clear. Yeah. You see, when you decide to dance around with our law enforcement agencies, you have your own self to blame. Okay. He had been engaging the OSP for some time. He's aware that he's supposed to come answer some questions. Now, there are different methods of going about investigations. Earlier when I spoke about tactics with the AG, now the OSP's office also has its own style.
Okay.
He says, I want you in person. I'm inviting you. Appear before me in person.
Not virtual.
So we can have a very beautiful conversation. I want you in person. And the law allows him to do that. Yeah. So he started engaging, Mr. Oforiatta and his lawyers. Yeah. Gave them ample time. He was supposed to have returned to Ghana on June 2nd.
Yeah, 2nd June.
That was 2 clear months in addition to what he had requested for. What happened? It got to the point, and then he's now telling us that he has not gone to, carry out the surgery that he mentioned earlier on he was going to do. How was the OSP supposed to know? The special prosecutor is not clairvoyant like the MPP communicators. He is unable to know where Mr. Oforiatta is, that he is unable to have gone through the surgery.
Okay.
The OSP cannot tell. So whose job was it to let the OSP know? I have a schedule with you. Yeah. You are not the only person I'm investigating.
Sure.
And you, Mr. Oforiatta, cannot decide how I schedule my cases or invite people to come and answer questions. So I have given you this time. If you have a challenge with our initial schedule, what do you do? Write back to me. And let's, check the schedule and all that. And then we'll see what we can do about it so that you can be present in person. You sit there, you have changed your schedule from the hospital, you don't indicate anything. And the day is coming for us to, have you here in person to answer questions. And then you write to your lawyers that you are now about to go carry out that surgery. I mean, seriously. Seriously.
So you
who will accept this?
So you still don't go with the fact that he had a reasonable cause and so he should be off the...
What's reasonable cause?
The surgery.
There was this gentleman, I've just forgotten where he worked. The Minister for Government Communications spoke about him the last time. He appeared in court in person in a wheelchair. He was sick throughout all the court proceedings. When it was time for him to go into the box, he went into the box. Sometimes during cross-examination, he would just even collapse. He was taking his tablets in open court in a wheelchair. Is Mr. Ofurata better than that person?
Fair.
Especially having wasted our time all these periods. When you have questions to answer, he can't determine for the OSP how he should go about his work.
Okay.
So please, nobody is going to take him off any Interpol red alert. He's not going to go off it. Wherever they find him, in whichever way they find him, whether he's going to come back to Ghana in a wheelchair, it is none of our concern. We need him here to answer questions about his stewardship as former finance minister. Period.
Thank you there. The court has been established.
I hope you have him on record. Keep this video. Because I know in 2029, my brother here will come back to this same studio and say something different.
He will wait for long.
Why would it be in 2029? What will happen in 2029?
But MPP is coming back in 2029.
Oh, really?
Oh, Massa. We will discuss that.
Oh.
You see, my brother and the NDC government and the OSP, they are only interested in sensational news. Okay?
Okay.
They are only interested in sensational news. I mean, let's educate our listeners this morning. Let me establish on this big platform that the Ken Oforiatta is not a suspect. He is a person of interest.
Okay.
Ken Oforiatta is not a suspect.
Hey, I'm coming. And earlier on in February, he was named as a person of interest. Later on, the OSP came back to say that now he's a suspect.
Just look for the OSP's,
I'm
latest
now he's a suspect.
and read it to him.
I'm coming.
No, don't worry yourself. Just look for it and read it to him.
I'm coming.
As simple as that.
I'm coming. Ken Oforiatta, as a citizen of this country, have every right. He has every right to incriminate himself or not to incriminate himself under the laws of this country.
Okay.
You know the reason why?
No.
Anytime a police officer wants to effect arrest, they will tell you, you have every right to remain silent, or anything you say will be used against you in a court of law.
Okay.
Why do you think they always make those statements? Because under the laws, you as a citizen, you have that right, the prerogative right, to incriminate yourself by saying certain things. Or you have every right not to incriminate yourself by keeping quiet.
Okay.
So today, Ken Oforiatta can come to OSP, sit down with him, and refuse to talk. The OSP cannot force Ken Oforiatta to talk.
Sure.
OSP cannot force Ken Oforiatta to give him information before he proceeds to court. In fact, OSP cannot bring Ken Oforiatta down here before he can proceed to court. Article 19 clause 3b of the Constitution says it gives every prosecution in criminal matters to try the suspect or whatever the person is in absentia. The word is what? Absentia. This is the Constitution is the supreme laws of the country. And the Constitution is telling you, even if the person is not here in Ghana, you can proceed to court and try the person in absentia.
Okay.
The same Constitution is also telling you that every citizen have that prerogative right to incriminate himself or herself, or not to incriminate him or herself.
Okay.
So Ken Oforiatta can come today and refuse to talk. So if he refuses to talk, would OSP go to court or not? That's the question we are asking him.
Okay.
So the question is, you don't need Ken Oforiatta to come to Ghana to be investigated before you go to court.
Okay.
OSP,
Okay.
You don't need him because he can come and refuse to talk. He has that right. If he refuses to talk or answer your questions, will you go to court or not? So you don't need him before you go to court. You can go to court with the little information you claim to have. Go to court. Let the court establish. And you were talking about even if Kenneth Furata is in wheelchair, they will bring him down here. Oh, really? We are jokers in this country.
Why?
Under which law? Under which authority did the OSP declare Kenneth Furata wanted without going to the court? The powers of the OSP under the OSP Act, Act 959, which established the office of the special prosecutor. Section 28, that is where he derived his powers. And it has been stated clearly that the powers of the OSP is derived from the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act 1960, Act 30. And that right or that powers is equal to a police officer. Which police officer would declare somebody wanted without going to court for an order? Which police officer? So you see, my brother.
Are you assuming?
I'm coming.
Please,
you are making a statement of fact.
No,
please.
Please. I'm only looking for clarity.
Do you know what a red alert is?
The OSP declared the former finance minister wanted without a warrant, a court warrant.
Why is it?
Oh, but do we expect him to come and show us?
Of course. You said you are giving update.
I think in this case,
fact you don't know something doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
I think in this case, the right people who could have
it is your job to know. So if you don't know, that's
they
your
are
problem.
lawyers, and if the lawyers haven't come out to,
they would have been in court by now.
What I'm saying is, you don't have that authority to organize a press conference and declare somebody wanted.
Come on.
After gaining warrant to,
which warrant? Which warrant? Which warrant? Do you have a warrant? If the special prosecutor has that one, it should produce it. But as far as I'm concerned, there is no warrant. There is no court order.
As far as you are concerned,
there is no court order.
Okay.
Unless it is
so
proven
let that be on
otherwise.
record. As far as he is concerned,
yes.
Unless it is proven otherwise.
Okay.
By who? To who?
What I'm saying is,
a red alert has been, issued on somebody, and you're saying there's no warrant.
Then Kenneth should be back by now.
You see him too.
Or you don't get it.
I do.
My position is clear.
Okay.
OSP Kisia Jaben do not need Kenneth to be in this country to answer questions before he proceeds to court to prosecute him.
Okay.
If you think he has enough evidence against him, please should proceed to court and prosecute him in absentia.
Okay.
I don't know that we need our money.
Unfortunately, you are unable to tell the way.
Tamaklo, please, don't interject me.
He decides how to do his job.
Tamaklo, say the name Tamaklo. Your own appointee.
Why? How many years did you have in government?
Look, say the name Tamaklo.
Or you don't know how to issue a red alert.
Let me make my point.
Okay.
Before you answer.
Or you don't know how to issue a red alert.
Say the name Tamaklo.
You sentenced her. Why couldn't you look for her in jail here?
Please.
Let's
You
no, ask him.
He doesn't want me to make my point.
You tried her in absentia.
Make your point. I'll office my.
They tried her in absentia.
Say the name Tamaklo. A woman, a mother, who squandered over 70 million Ghana cedis meant for the people of Kantamanto trade market, who has been convicted by a court of what? Competent jurisdiction under the law. And she has been jailed for 10 years. If you are interested in bringing money to the people of this country, the Attorney General should be interested in changing that 70-something million Ghana cedis.
Let me ask you that one question.
You ask a question.
Okay.
Kisia Jaben.
No, so ask a question. I mean,
look. Kisia Jaben should be interested in issuing red alert to bring Sedinam Tamaklo.
Okay.
The Maslock former appointee under President Mahama.
Point clearly made.
Should be back by now.
Now, my question. Which year was Sedinam jailed?
It doesn't matter the year.
It really matters.
Look,
in this context, it matters.
Look, it does.
Which year?
Look,
under which Attorney General?
The NPP government did excellent job by making sure judgment was given.
Which year?
2024.
We had an Attorney General there. We had an OSP there. and they couldn't issue a red alert.
So that is where the double standard of Kisieja have been came into.
Who prosecuted
That's not the fault of the.
Who prosecuted Sedina?
But who?
Who did?
But somebody,
who prosecuted Sedina?
Somebody who has been jailed by the court.
Are you afraid to mention the name of your incompetent?
Justice has been said, administered already. We are not interested in that one. I know the scanner. I'm ready.
But what stopped you from?
We are not interested.
You
are not. Please. Let me make my point. You want me to answer you? I'm answering your question.
Okay, you answer.
You are not interested in the scanner. No, the person has been jailed already.
Don't help me.
Go and bring her and let's take our money.
Don't help
You are
me.
not interested in that. You are only interested in somebody who is just a person of interest. Somebody don't even have enough evidence. Somebody is not even gone to court for a court to establish. You are rather interested in that one. The Attorney General came in and he was cancelling cases. At the first, Opuni, Elijah Collins, he said the country is not interested in that.
You have 2 minutes to end.
2 minutes. Yeah. Thank you very much.
You had impotent,
So like I'm saying,
we're trying people for
the
years.
OSP has no business in declaring Kenofurata wanted.
Okay.
If he really want to give us money in this country, he should go to the court.
Okay.
All the budget allocation given to him, 2022 was given over 183 million Ghana cedis. His office alone with this Ikano. 2024, 137 million Ghana cedis budget allocated.
Want to issue a disclaimer on that.
2023.
He's accusing the OSP.
But he spent the money
in your studio.
The money was given to him.
Okay.
Per the budget statement, please. Take yourself out of it. I'm the one saying it.
I'm a witness.
Okay.
So issue a disclaimer.
Fine.
Yeah.
I said per the budget statement 2022, 2023, 2024, monies were given to the OSP to work.
And according to you,
recently he published. Please let me make my point.
But that's what you said. You are not repeating.
Recently,
if you are withdrawing, say you are withdrawing. Then we continue.
Withdrawing what?
So he squandered it. That's what you're saying.
He squandered the money.
That's fine.
Okay. He has spent the money.
Okay.
Recently, he published on his website that he has been able to recover 3 million Ghana cedis for the state since he became OSP. 2021. From 2021 to date, only 3 million Ghana cedis he was able to recover for the country. Meanwhile, year on year basis, we give not less than 100 million Ghana cedis. Your office alone, you spend the money. You are not working, and you are declaring people wanted. And when we go and tell you, say, Ankwanuma, bang. Do the work.
Our time is up.
OSP, honorable Kisieja, I say honorable. Lawyer Kisieja should do the work and stop complaining and lamenting.
Okay.
Kenofurata is not a suspect. He's just a person of interest. You only need him to answer questions. He can refuse to talk when he even can.
Okay.
Will you go to court or not? So you don't need Kenofurata to come before you go to court.
All right.
If you think you have enough evidence against Kenofurata, proceed to the court. Under Article 19, Clause 3B of the Constitution, you can prosecute somebody in absentia.
Okay.
So I think you owe it to your platform, so that we don't come here and misinform people.
Which misinform? I'm starting budget allocation.
The OSP in its last,
press briefing.
Yes, has changed the status of Ken Ofori-Atta
from a person of interest.
So if someone sits here and is not aware of it, that person cannot be making emphatic statements.
Okay.
Number two, just briefly, before we
I ended this time before you gave you. I came in. So why are you giving him time again?
Briefly,
this is his time to actually say his last.
No.
You have your time to say.
Now you are the host of the show.
No, but when he was about to talk, I asked you how many time left. You said we have about 8 minutes.
Do you own the
time? You gave me 4. Now you are giving him another. You will give me 2 minutes. Before we leave here.
You don't own the time.
You want him to do me damage.
Now you are even eating in his time.
He doesn't have the right to even talk at all.
You have your time to.
Okay.
Everyone is up.
I don't know why he's fighting about something that doesn't even belong to him. You don't own the time. So like I was saying, finally, let's be very clear. The OSP is not operating with an act or any act that is written in the Presby hymn book or Methodist hymn book.
Okay.
There is an act that created the OSP's office, and there are laws that establish what he does.
Okay.
Anybody who feels he's doing something wrong has on several occasions challenged those things in court, and there are outcomes. So whatever he's doing right now, if anybody has any issue with it, they can proceed to court and challenge it. Anything beyond that is empty noise.
Okay. Thank you there, Hola, and thank you, Nee. Gentlemen, we've ended the show this morning, but your last words before you go. Hola.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time here. And
Last word again.
I'm excited about the show. I think we've been speaking for some time,
Yes,
and I
yes.
took a short break.
Sure.
I think for about some 4 months, but I'm back now. So, first show, great show. I mean, we'll see what happens. I'd like to say hi to a couple of people, of course.
Sure.
My member of parliament, who we believe will continue to be, a member of parliament for Dominic Kwabena for a very very long time. Faustina Likimakurugu, and then the CEC of Dominic Kwabena, and basically your listeners. I see you have a huge following and all that. I'm glad to be on this platform.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you very much. And a little information to your member of parliament.
Which one in particular?
The Abokubi one.
Okay, so that's the road even leading to the council. So let me explain to you briefly. A member of parliament is a lawmaker.
Okay.
Doesn't construct rules.
It is the MC and the assembly are agents of development.
Okay.
Now, because a member of parliament sits in parliament with ministers, including the road ministers, the best they can do for you is to lobby, be on your neck.
Okay.
That please consider the roads in my constituency.
So has she done that for them?
I believe she's doing that every day.
Okay.
So this is what's going to happen. Thanks to John Mahama, right? You've heard what we are about to do now. The release
drip machines,
not even a drip.
The
You've not heard. Yeah, exactly.
For the roads.
And it is going to equip most of our assemblies with the funds they need to be able to, do some of these projects and all that.
Okay.
So it's just a matter of course, not even time. It's a matter of course.
Okay.
I believe because that's a road that leads to even assembly anyway.
Okay. Because I have a reporter here who's really interested in this road. She's been making so many reports.
Then she can follow up on it.
Okay.
At least till the end of the year, she might see something.
Okay.
I think there are some new developments in that area.
No.
I don't know if she's been there in recent times anyway.
All right.
But you can follow up. I can assure you.
Okay.
The MP will lobby, and the MC will do his job.
Okay. Thank you very much, Hola. Ni, you have your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I think today is my first day on the show.
Yeah.
And it's quite okay. I mean, the time was enough. Just that my brother was, and it's quite okay. This morning, I want to greet the Gamanche, Kentucky Kuchulu, the second. We all know, what he's doing for the Gas people. He's doing very well. And we acknowledge that.
Okay.
We can only, encourage him to do more. Because more has to be done for the people of the Gam state.
Okay.
And let it be known on this platform that there's only one king of the Gam state.
But the court has spoken.
I said there is only one king of the Gam state.
Is that a contention?
There is no court anywhere on this land that can install a chief.
Okay.
Court do not install chief. What they do is to settle conflict or chieftaincy issues. Court do not install chief. So if you go to any court and the court is telling you your name should be installed, whatever, court do not install chiefs. The laws are there.
Okay.
Is that contention?
What which contention?
There's a contention. You're allowing him to say this. You must allow the other party to come here. And
I said. This is law.
Okay. Fine.
No law. No
court.
No court on this. Soil can install a chief. There's only one king.
Can install a chief.
Can
you say law again?
I'm telling you, per the laws, no court can install a chief. There's only one king of the Ghan state, and that is King Teku Chulu the second. Thank you.
So
thank you very much.
One party to you must look for the other party to also come and do the same.
that was it on the breakfast show this morning with the great gentlemen. We had a great time in the studios. Subsequently, we will be seeing them more here for some more conversation, intellectually and educational to our benefit. Thank you very much to our listeners, wherever you listen to us and watched us from, making the time through with us this morning. This is where we will call the curtains on the show. My name is Parkwes Yomare. Enjoy the rest of your day.